Today's episode of Northern Lights is presented by North Star Law Group, a trusted partner to small businesses in Minnesota's legal cannabis industry. Whether you've already applied for a license or are just getting started, attorney Jen Riza and her team can help you build a compliant business, identify and navigate risks, put together an application, and keep you informed about the ever-changing Minnesota cannabis landscape. Are you ready to add North Star to your team? Visit northstarlaw.com/cannabis and let North Star Law Group guide you through confidently opening your doors. Again, that's northstarlaw.com/cannabis. Keeping track of your grow doesn't have to be a hassle. Meet Plant Track. That's PLNTRK, a tool built by Minnesota growers for growers like you. Track every stage of your plant with intuitive progress bars for each phase. Stay on top of your grow with text reminders for watering, feeding, and photos. And when it's time to log data, it couldn't be easier. Just scan a QR code or tap an NFC tag to instantly access your plant's details and updates. You can even log your interactions for one or all your plants in just seconds. Ask detailed questions with the AI chat powered by your plant's data and get the help that you need when you need it. It's free for up to 8 plants. Go to www.plntrk.com now and start tracking your grow. Are you a social equity applicant trying to save money on LED grow lights? Then here's some good news for you. You could get up to 75% off your lighting project, covered entirely by rebates, when you team up with a local nonprofit, Center for Energy and Environment. Since 2000, CEE has provided free energy consulting to Xcel Energy customers throughout Minnesota. Their team of lighting experts will help you get the highest rebates possible and take care of the paperwork so you don't have to. Starting a grow operation can be overwhelming, so take advantage of this free support from CEE. Go to mncee.org/growled to sign up for your free consultation and find out how much you can save with lighting rebates. Again, that's mncee.org/growled. Go get signed up today. And we're back here at the Dabbler Depot studio with the good doctor himself, Dr. Clement Debney. How's it going, man?
How's it been?
Going well. Good to see you. Welcome back to the studio. I know you know this, but what are your thoughts on being the top listened to episode of Northern Lights in 2024?
I think it's an honor. I appreciate that people appreciate it. And yeah, it feels good.
I dig it. Well, we're having people in. We're session with them a little bit. We're asking them to share a high note, something you thought about while stoned, something you did in 2024 that was cool that you want to share. But first, we gotta do the dab, and then you can share the high note. So feel free to grab a jar, any of them. You get to decide. You can.
We're doing this one.
All right, there we go. We're gonna make sure this gets to the right temperature here. We'll give it just a moment, and then we'll get that ready. Yeah, shout out Green Machine.
Oh yeah, appreciate you, Green Machine.
Clem, I've asked you this actually on the podcast before, but for those who didn't listen to that episode, what is your go-to terp profile? You're walking to a dispensary, you get to choose anything.
I'm a sucker for the oranges, so an orange cookies mac, a mimosa, a Tangies.
See, I'm not alone.
Every time.
I'm not alone. I'm the only one in this studio that likes them, but we're out there. There's tens of us, literally. All right, so here's the dabber tool. Grab as much as you would like of that, and then you've got about 10 more degrees, and then you're ready.
Cool. I'm going to do a medium one because I just had the hottest dab of my life outside.
Oh, that's fair. Chaz up the throat. And then this thing is super top heavy, so just be careful. It likes to be a little wobbly. Okay. But it's good boro, so. And then you're good to rip it whenever.
Oop.
I know, the microphone is slightly in the way. Shout out Green Machine, growing the bop, banana, orange, papaya. Love anything that's fruity, especially that tropical blend. I can grab that from you. Thank you very much, my friend. All right. So we've done the dab. We've gotten at least a little bit high. Tell me, What is your high note? What's something that happened this year, something you thought about, something you want to share?
I don't know. It's been a crazy year this year. I started writing for the Star Tribune.
Yeah.
That's been pretty tight.
Yeah, your Thanksgiving article was a hit at my family Thanksgiving, sharing that with all the recipes and encouraging my grandpa to maybe liven it up next year.
Yeah. I'm hoping to. It's been nice. It's been a nice platform to like destigmatize cannabis and share our culture with a general audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you've done a great job of it. I mean, there's been many articles that break down like things that are happening in the news, but in a very easily to digest way. We might have actually used them in the recording of episodes on here before because it's hard to know what's going on in the industry, and having you at the Star Tribune is helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess another cool thing that happened to me this year, man, a lot. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I guess we got most innovative intoxicating product.
Yeah, we should shout that out. 3 years in a row now. 3 years in a row, winning the Legacy Cup. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is a title that no other person holds. That's
I think
pretty unique.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we won for the maple candies the first time, the nighttime tea blend, the lavender chamomile tea for the second time, and this most recent one, we won for our maple syrup.
Yeah, which people actually saw on the podcast when you came in, helped make a bunch of really awesome pancakes.
Yeah, we made those Bregriers.
Yeah, Bregriers. Oh, those were so good. We got to get you in for more cooking. This studio might not be as
Remember when we did it at the Doobie Dabbler and the camera wasn't rolling?
Yeah. Oh, but they were delicious.
Yeah, we need a better ventilation in here if we're going to be doing a cooking show. But hey, we got that bar back there. Like, why?
There we go. We'll move this. We'll move the studio out there to the big room.
Out to the people.
Yeah, bring it to the people.
And I guess I got what was that? Twin Cities Business, the Minneapolis St. Paul Mag.
Yeah.
Listed me as like one of the top 100 people to watch,
not
for
just
2025.
in the cannabis industry, but like across all of
the state,
Minnesota.
for all industries. Yeah, I was the only cannabis person in there, I think.
Which that's pretty cool, man.
Well,
that's a lot of high notes for the year. That's
been a good year. We've been working really hard, and trying to get it done.
Well, we're excited to have you on the podcast next year. We're excited to see all the things that happen in our industry, but also to Dr. Clement Debney himself in the next year. So, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Tanner. It's been a pleasure.
We'll be right back. So we're waiting for this to cool back down. Once it beeps, you'll be all set to go.
Well, thank you guys for having this amazing party. This is
absolutely. So
just landed 20 minutes ago.
It's perfect. Oh, well, thanks for coming down. Well, so the question that we're going to ask you in just a minute after you've done your dab is a high note, something that you thought about this year, something that was a positive, just something maybe you shared with a friend. It can be a story, a recommendation, really anything. But feel free to think about that, and then we'll hand this to you.
All right.
And you should be all good to take a dab.
So I just, on the bottom,
so you sort of put it in that bowl, And then it's a terp slurper, so you can suck it pretty hard, which is...
Northern Lights. Happy Gilmore for sure.
Right?
Dynamite. That's tasty. What is it's GMO?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Kudos to these guys, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Recognizes game. Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Big facts.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
We've been doing this new segment called Tanner's Terp Tasting.
Oh, that's it. Mm-hmm. That's Terpalicious right there. Damn.
Terpalicious. I want that on a shirt.
Yo, we got a bit called Terp About It.
That's it. I mean, that's it. Weed's got to taste good, right?
Yeah,
what's
absolutely.
the point of it otherwise?
So the question, I sort of prepared you for it.
Yep.
Done the dab. We've now come to the other side. What is your high note? What's something that you thought about this year? Or something positive that happened?
Something positive that happened to us this year. The most positive thing I would say is we're still here.
Yeah, fair.
We're navigating this space here in Minnesota, and just thinking about Minnesota as a whole, what's happening with just everything from the social equity part of it, right? That we're kind of based off the new guidelines and the new things that are coming out.
Yep.
I don't know. It just seems crazy that it went kind of like that, right? So,
For sure.
Navigating that, but really the high note I think of the whole year is just that cannabis is here in Minnesota, and we're rocking it, and we're getting closer by the second, by the day, by the minute. You know what I mean? And it's coming, and they're doing all the steps. We're doing all the steps. I mean, all the people here, the beautiful parties that we're able to really be here and rock and roll. It's just so cool. I mean, just even all over from traveling to Arizona and Los Angeles and Las Vegas and seeing the different social clubs and things like that, knowing that's probably coming here, and the fact that low dosage is a real thing, and cannabinoids now are really, really present in Minnesota, whereas across the country traditionally, it's not cannabinoid specific and/or educated, right? It's not. Cannabinoids, I feel, in Minnesota is a real education piece that everyone in Minnesota is getting behind.
Yeah,
and that's so cool because, as we talked about before, I mean, it's a medical journey for me and a lot of other people. So just more terp, more cannabinoids, just constant is awesome. CBG, CBN, like the sleep gummies and things like that are just in our stores. We're just seeing such an incredible reaction to them in a positive way. So I think just the positive reaction to cannabis in Minnesota is kind of my highlight, because I think it's come a long ways in just a year in an education standpoint.
Yeah.
And that's testament to who Minnesotans are, and they want the education. They want to know what they're smoking or consuming and things like that. So I think it's super badass. I think that's super cool.
I love that. Yeah, it's crazy to think that we're coming into 2025. That's going to be the third year of legal cannabis. With happened in 2023. We had 2024 that we thought things would move forward. They haven't a ton, but it's been a fun year in the legacy market.
For sure.
I'm so excited to see what 2025 brings to the entirety of our industry.
In the shows, in the camaraderie, and the brands that are getting bigger and really putting their all into it, and a lot of local Minnesota people just rocking and rolling, which is super cool to see. I want to see Minnesota.
Funny you say that when you're wearing a legit hat and I'm wearing a legacy shirt, and it's like the Minnesota roots. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many people in Minnesota that are just rocking it and doing some incredible stuff, that have been here doing things that now the changes in laws, the changes in more acceptance has just exploded what we're able to do.
Absolutely. And another thing too is a positive. I was just talking with Justin as he was leaving, is the charity that people are getting behind giving this Christmas to kids, and the guys at Ryan Shoup and those guys, and Justin and those guys. I mean, just incredible commitment to change, and commitment to really giving and caring, and not with a presence of profit, but more with the presence of just doing good and changing people's lives. So I mean, it's just cool. I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's so incredible. Showing the healing power of this plant isn't just in using it, but also the community that it can bring together.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in the studio. For people that want to follow along with you in 2025, where would you send them?
Minnesota Roots. I think it's Minnesota Roots. You would think I would know all this stuff, right? Through Double Up Wholesale, at Facebook, all those things.
Perfect. We'll put it in the show notes. So check the show notes.
I'm the worst person in the world when it comes to social media. I'm like, I have no idea.
Then you're good. We appreciate you coming.
Minnesota Roots, Cross Lake, Minnesota Roots, Elk River. Stop by the shows anytime and rock and roll.
Awesome.
Honestly,
Curtis, thank you again so much.
To know Curtis, the best way is add him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
There we go. All right.
If you really want to get to know Curtis White, become his Facebook friend. And
because that's real too, and it's my family, and we don't really hold back, and we have high highs and we have low lows, just like any other family, but we ride them out and keep rocking and rolling, and hopefully wake up another day to fight the battle of life, So.
Absolutely. Another year.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thaning you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it as always.
Appreciate you, brother.
We'll be right back.
Thanks for the dab.
All right, and we're back. So we like to begin our episodes by letting people introduce themselves. Who are you? Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, I am Bryce with True Bloom Wellness. It was very nice to meet you finally, Tanner. We're just getting to meet finally face to face. Really fun holiday party you guys are putting on tonight.
Thanks. We appreciate you guys coming out for it.
Yeah, involved with it. So
awesome. Well, so we're having you here to do a dab and then tell us about your high note for the year.
Yeah, I've been out there working all night waiting for this moment here.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I've made eye contact with you between a lot of dabs.
Yeah, I lost count after like 50.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprised you're still with us here.
It's all in a day's work, you know.
This guy's a machine.
So we'll let this get down to the proper temp, and then we'll let you rip it. But in just a minute, I'm going to be asking you what your high note is. Something you thought about from the year, something you told someone while you were stoned. A lot of people have been telling me about these drones in New Jersey.
Yeah, I've been hearing about those.
Thoughts about those, but first we'll have
keep
you do
it
the
light.
dab. Yeah, there we go. So I'll give that to you, and then feel free to basically you can put the oil right in the dish part, and then it's a slurper, so you can hit it as hard as you'd like.
Trying to get the bubbles for the mic here.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, with that one, you have to rip it pretty hard to get that full ASMR effect, but...
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just as good of a taste as the nose.
Which one did you end up doing? Was that the guava bow, or... It says on the bottom of the jar.
Alien mint candy.
Okay, for sure. Alien
out of this
mint.
world.
I always love seeing the creativity that people come up with in the names of cultivars.
And it's never going to end. It's one of my favorite parts of the cannabis business.
Oh, yeah.
As a legacy user, I'm sure you can remember the days of really questioning the names on these things, whereas nowadays, it's amazing all the thought and all the tracking that goes into it.
Totally.
Listening to some of the conversations here tonight about all the different growers and all the different, genetic tracing has been really cool.
Yeah. I remember back in the days before Colorado went on board, thinking like, Alaskan Thunderfuck? Like, no way that's going to be like in a retail store that like soccer moms shop at. But the cannabis industry yet again proves that, no, you can have Alaskan Thunderfuck, and it's just cool. Or you can call it ATF, as I learned tonight. So high note, something you thought of, something positive from the year. What's your high note?
Yeah, no, I brought a little bit of foreshadowing along. I have to give this year to our CBD relief lotion. We took best topical, at the Legacy Cup this year. And I know Pam, our founder, is extremely proud of that, as she should be. That's been a big one for us. And as you'll notice, it's CBD only. We stepped away from THC for that product. That's not the way all of our products are at True Bloom Wellness, for those who aren't familiar. But yeah, that's one that we're really proud of. And
very cool.
About that,
congrats, guys. Like, anytime a brand is coming in and winning the Legacy Cup, I feel like it really is like, I should pay attention to what they're doing.
It was nice because it wasn't new this year, but it was something that, it does give a little bit of awareness. With this newer market, there's been a lot of brands, a lot of great products, and as a consumer myself, it can be somewhat hard to navigate. So having events like that and like this, where, the spotlight really is on the product and the brands in this market, is really cool. Especially knowing, a lot of these really cool brands are local and close to home.
Yeah, absolutely. So. We were able to try your guys' edible strips on the show like a week or two ago. And that was so surreal for me to have like an edible experience that is like the Listerine, mint, and you like put it on your tongue, and it's like all of a sudden it's just gone.
Yeah, the sublingual conversation has been going internally for a while, and we are so excited to hear kind of the feedback. And like even tonight, I mean, like this is week one of it being available at the retail level, and just hearing the rumblings and the excitement it's awesome. It's why I love this business and why I love this industry.
That's very cool. Well, I'd recommend people go check it out. But for people that want to follow along with the stuff that you guys do, where would you recommend sending them?
Definitely social medias. We try our best to work with the retailers as well. So definitely, check out the Dabbler, the Canna College. All this is incredible. I was telling Steven tonight, I feel like it's been years now where you've just been kind of this voice for the industry here in the city,
thanks,
which has been, awesome. So just keep up what you're doing as well. Follow us online. That's, I think, kind of in this day and age, the easiest place for us all to stay connected. But then also, the events. We've got the Winter Dabbler coming up.
Yeah.
I want to shout that out. All the Dabbler events have been really, really cool to, again, see all these brands, see all these products in one place, and just be able to try things out. That's what it's all about. So
I appreciate that, man. It's the fun of this industry. Now being able to be open and share all this stuff and just say, like, hey, you've got cool stuff. Like, I like it.
We're finally smoking it like it's legal.
Exactly.
So, thank you very much for
the thanks so much for coming in the studio. We really appreciate it. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back here at the Dabbler Depot at the Northern Lights holiday party. So we're back in the studio. First off, introduce yourself and what brings you here today.
How's everybody doing today? My name is Justin with Frostbud Farms. Just came down to enjoy the holiday party and support what these guys got going on.
Appreciate it, man.
I've seen you guys in the community, and what you guys are doing is just awesome, I think, and it's just an honor to be here.
Thanks. Well, I really appreciate it. I have to say, for those who are listening in, you should check out the YouTube version because your outfit is incredible. Like, I love the Christmas vibes that I'm getting from that. So
I appreciate it, man. So I tell people I dress up for the holidays and then basically funerals. So
there we go.
Other than that, I'm a working man, and yeah.
I like it. Well, so we're inviting people in the studio today to share a little bit about their high note, something that they thought of that while they were stoned, something positive that happened this year. What is your high note to end out 2024?
Absolutely. So it's been a crazy, wild, up and down journey. This all began for myself back in February of 2024. So less than a year ago, I started the Frostbud Farms page basically to separate my professional and my personal life, and
for sure,
as a way to give back to community as well. So we've had a crazy journey. We've hosted a bunch of community engagement events. Did a podcast by the name of Minnesota Grow Talks. There's 2 seasons of that on YouTube. We've raised a ton of food for different food drives around the state of Minnesota.
Very cool.
Or food banks. So all of the events that we host, they would have food drives that go with them. So you bring non-perishables, and then we give you tickets for the raffles.
Very cool.
And then all that food would go back to the local community, right? So yeah, it's been a cool journey. Met a lot of folks, had a lot of different opportunities. Most recently, I was actually invited to be on a movie set, which is a super huge honor. A good buddy of mine, his mother just passed away recently, sadly. God bless her soul, from cancer. So he wanted to make a movie about her. So he invited me. He's seen me out at some of the events, and I'm just always just trying to move around and get things done. So shout out to Blair Smith. Appreciate you, brother. It was an honor to be on the movie set, and it was just a lot of moving parts. So I basically wanted to step into your studio just to see what it looked like, And
well, we appreciate you coming. Are you able to say what the movie is? Are we able to shout it out, or is it still
so
under
the
wraps?
movie is called Around You, and it's based off of like his life story growing up. Not everything was always great, and but yeah, it was based around that. And then as his mother was diagnosed with cancer, how she progressed through that, and then finally passed away. And
for sure,
it kind of had a Christmas spin to it. So it was like a Christmas movie and kind of a sad movie at the same time. But it was just an honor to be on the movie set and work with all of the people that were involved. There's probably 15 to, maybe it's 25 people on the cast and crew. And then we stayed in a big, like, I told my wife it was kind of like the MTV reality show houses, right?
Okay, totally, yeah.
The house, it was 3-story duplex, and it would open up in the middle of each floor. So it would house 34 people. So it was like all of us were sleeping in this one house. There was 2 different kitchens. And then we all came to the kitchen to have all of our meals together. And
that sounds super
community
cool.
Focused. And so, yeah.
I love hearing a little bit about the behind the scenes of a movie that could be coming to the Twin Cities Film Festival soon. Like that's pretty neat. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in the studio today. We appreciate you sharing your high note. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Yeah, before we close out, I just want to, again, just give you guys a shout-out for everything you guys do. I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes and a lot of hours that are put in, so shout-out to you guys.
Oh, well, we appreciate that. Let's return it. For people that want to learn about Frostbud Farms, where can they go to learn more about that? Is that
So you can find me on any of the social media platforms. Again, the main emphasis is just giving back, and so we're on Instagram, Discord, X, as you would call it,
for
Facebook, basically any of them and all of them. So
cool. Well, we'll put that in the show notes, so go give that a follow. Thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We'll be right back. Are you ready to kick off your home grow? We've got the perfect hookup for you. MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. They've got everything from fast flowering strains to unique hybrids. all ready for growing in Minnesota. And guess what? Our listeners get an exclusive deal. Use the code NL10 for a 10% discount on your entire order. Don't miss out. Get the best seeds and start your grow strong with MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. Remember, NL10 for 10% off. That's MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com. Grab your seeds today. And we're back. So it's another month. It is December now, which means it's time for another seed of the month. Casey, super happy to have you back here from Natural Harvest. How's it going?
Hey, Tanner. Great to be back again. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so people remember from last month, we talked about the subscription seed service that you guys have. People got those slurricane seeds. One is likely going in my tent right now. And I'm excited to have you back to talk about the cultivar of the month that we got going on this month.
Great. Yeah, thanks. Blue Dream Auto.
Okay. All right.
Pretty exciting strain. A lot of familiarity.
Yeah, that's a classic. I heard a joke one time from the grower Danny Danko that said, new growers love Blue Dream. And then there's like this peak where you think you know everything about growing and you're like, I hate Blue Dream. That's a beginner grower thing. And then you get to the other side of that hump and you're like, wow, now I get why everyone likes Blue Dream. It's one of those staple things for a reason. It's one of those cultivars you can always turn to and know you're going to get a product that you like out of it.
Absolutely. I agree.
And so you said this month is a Blue Dream Auto. Just for people who don't know, what's different from that standard regular seed versus an auto seed?
Sure. Yeah. So most of the autos you see, it's mixed with the ruderalis to get it to flower and not be light dependent.
Okay.
So a lot of like new growers, or if you grow outside places in Minnesota, up north and things where we have a very limited season, it doesn't require a change in the light cycle, which is really great. You know, takes a step out of the equation, makes it a little bit easier.
Very cool. Yeah, I've heard before that autos are like such a great entry point for people that maybe have never grown before. Maybe you're a little nervous about like setting the light schedule, which really isn't that hard. But let's say you're looking to figure out what's that best entry point. I think Blue Dream Auto, that's really what I would recommend for people that are looking to really get started.
Love it. Yeah, we think the same.
And so it's December, which means for a lot of people, it's sort of the holiday time. If people were looking to get some seeds and maybe take that box and wrap it up, could they order these as a gift for maybe a loved one or a friend?
Absolutely. Yeah, available on our website, MinnesotaCannabisSeeds.com, and let's go to the subscriptions tab.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this is a classic. I'm so excited that you guys have Blue Dream up on deck this month. So excited for people to get those seeds. Even though it might not be a new cultivar to many people, I think it's one of those classics that, like I said at the beginning, it's a classic for a reason. And I'm excited to get some Blue Dream into my tent.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much, Casey. We'll be right back in just a minute. All right, and we're back. So introduce who you are, what it is you do in this industry. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. I mean, I know who you are, but for the camera, who
Thanks,
are you?
Tanner. Yeah, it's great to be here, by the way. It's really brighter than
Yeah,
I thought.
oh yeah.
But my name's Adi Salagram. I'm a founder of a startup. So when this legalization thing happened, we thought, how can we add value with our skill set? And we focused on delivery. So we kind of built, long story short, DoorDash for this market. So we help the dispensaries, pack and put their products online for the customers to shop from. Yeah. And also delivery licenses. So we're kind of, it's interesting because it's touching a lot of different models.
For sure.
We're still figuring that out. But yeah, we're the Plug Mobile.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, so we're having you in here today to do a dab, to tell us a little bit about your high note from the year, something you thought of, something positive. I keep bringing up the drones in New Jersey. You don't have to talk about that one. But first, we got to get you the dab. So just something to be in the back of your mind.
Sure.
So what I'm going to do in just a second, I'm going to take this nail off of here. It's at the right temperature. Or it's just a little hot. So we're going to put it on here and then use the temperature tool called the dab right to make sure that we're at the right temp. I'll let you know, and then you're good to rip that. We'll just give it a moment. Yeah, so feel free to. Now is the time to get your dab, if you will.
Get my thing ready.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I don't want to take too much.
You can take
First time. Is that good?
Yeah, that should be good.
Okay, perfect.
That's enough that you probably won't choke a ton.
Let me take a little bit more then.
You can take as much as you'd like. That's what I love about concentrates is I feel like everyone sort of has their own preference for them. I don't know many people that like taking one hit off a joint and then go, yeah, I'm good. But there are some people that, just doing a little dab is their preferred method. And then shout out to my homie Aaron who takes giant dabs. All right, here we go. So I'll give that to you. And then it's a recycler, so you can suck on it pretty hard.
Okay. So wait, I put this against the wall, you said?
Yeah, you can put it sort of right in the dish. Oh, no, you can keep the cap on.
Okay.
Sort of in the dish.
Oh. So right here.
Yep. There we go. Exactly. Perfecto. Oh, and then do not touch that. That is hot. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good now.
There you go. You got that gassy chemi on that. I love that.
I liked it.
Thank you. I can grab that from you.
Not.
Oh, no, you're all good.
Sweet. All right, now I'm flying. Now I'm ready.
Now we're ready. We've done our dab. We've got our dabulators dabulated. What is your high note from the year?
My high note. I tried not to think of it as I was waiting for here, but the thing that comes to mind right now, I'll relate it back to kind of my work because I want to provide something of value. The signals I'm seeing in the market are digital.
Okay.
So like Best Buy, I come from a Best Buy realm. Mm-hmm. In their latest earnings call, they just released that they're all of a sudden switching to a digital marketplace strategy.
Interesting.
That is interesting because Best Buy was a big ass company. Why does it all of a sudden need digital, right? And then Vireo, maybe you guys have already seen this, but
$75 million.
$75 million acquisition. Actually, they bought 4 businesses. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about any of them. But the thing that was interesting from our end is they also bought a platform for delivery. And platforms are important because these are scalable things. So by the time the social equity dispensary gets their store, gets their POS, all these things and up and ready, Vireo might already capture market share like never before. They went digital first. So that's my high note is like, I want to bring awareness to digital because not only is it the world that we live today in, right? But also I think the chapter of Minnesota doesn't quite define that yet.
Yeah.
So that's my high note.
I think that's so spot on, especially because for an industry so long, we weren't really able to be online. So much of what we were doing was like, I don't really want to post this on Facebook. Yeah. And now as people are transitioning to the online world, not only having to say like, yeah, you could post that, but actually you should because your customers want to know like what it is you're doing, what it is you offer. And that switch to digital is
plus I think about myself, right? Like I want to just shop from my couch. Like that's how easy this industry should be because it's cold outside, guys. Like I dreaded coming here, right? Oh, yeah. So I think, I actually wanted to be here.
No, but I had a pizza brought to me at home yesterday. Yeah. It would have been cool if there was a gram of oil in there as well. Right. Like, I wouldn't have been upset about that.
That could be the future.
That would be pretty sweet.
But yeah. What about you, Tanner? I know you probably mentioned it, but
no, actually, you're the first person all night to ask me what my high note from the year is.
Awesome.
Wow. I feel like I would get in trouble at home if I didn't say that my high note from the year was that I got married in July.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was so cool being able to like have people for so long say like, oh, your wedding day, like you'll remember it forever. It's like the best day of your life. And I was so pessimistic isn't the right word, but going into it of like, sure, like, yeah, whatever. I've had friends say this is the best weed ever before, and then you smoke it and you're like, yeah, that's fine. Not that I thought my wedding day was going to be like mids, but getting to the other end of it and going like, wow, that actually was like such a powerful day, having family, friends, people who I've known since I was a kid, but then also the same for my wife and being able to like mingle that all together. That was definitely my high note from the year. That's for sure.
I totally realized. Is that what high note means? Something that was a high.
It's something positive.
Okay,
something.
I just said whatever came to mind.
I cannot confirm nor deny whether I was stoned on my wedding day. It was at a church. I would never. But high notes is just whatever you want it to be. I think it started as like, what's something you've thought of when you've been stoned?
I think one of my first high notes was like, where's the most beautiful place you've ever like taken a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that was it.
Yeah. What's your favorite French fry in the Twin Cities? That was a favorite high note of mine because then it led me to like, I gotta try like 4 more places.
This podcast is very potato centric.
Like, we do love our potatoes.
About potatoes.
How about that? That will be the question we'll go out on. If you had to get French fries from anywhere in the Twin Cities, And like, you don't have to worry about distance. You don't have to worry about like, oh, it's 2 a.m. They're not open right now. Like, where would you go for good French fries?
You know, I'm not a big French fry guy, but I think, you know what? McDonald's just comes to
Okay,
mind.
all right.
It's just classic. It's easy. The only time I eat French fries
That's
are
so
through
fair.
McDonald's. And I've tried like maybe Wendy's. It just doesn't hit the right. So I'm just going to say McDonald's, you know?
That's super fair.
So, yeah.
It is sort of like how you can go to a Subway basically anywhere in the country. It could be middle of nowhere on the side of a road, and you're like, yeah, it tastes like a Subway sandwich. I feel like McDonald's French fries are the same, where
more
like
that category.
anywhere in the country, any time of day, it's going to taste the same.
It's like the $200 ounce of weed, right?
Exactly. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming in. If people want to follow along with Plugmobile, the stuff you're doing, where would you send them?
I think right now it's just the company is me and my team. So I think LinkedIn is the best way to find us.
Perfect.
And kind of what we're thinking. So follow us on LinkedIn or add us, connect with us. So Adi Salagram. So
Awesome. We'll put that in the
Thank
show
you.
notes so people can connect with
Thanks,
you.
Tanner. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. We'll be right back. In the early parts of season 1, when we first switched to video, you can see the episodes that we do too many dabs before we got on camera. And there are a couple episodes that I edited and got to the end of, and I went, I got to talk to that person. And we've sort of tried to hone in. But I think season 2 has just, we've just fucked our tolerance this season. So here we are.
This is my first dab in a while, so the tolerance is down here.
Welcome to the show, Ian.
Beautiful.
Thanks for having me.
And we're back. So welcome. We're here in the studio at the Dabbler Depot. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what brings you here today.
Yeah, my name's Ian. I am starting a business called Space Shack. We do hemp-derived, infused, frozen desserts. Our goal is to be the frozen section in your smoke shop. And what brought me here today, obviously, my guy, Steven, I've known you, been around for a while, really been kind of following things in the background as I've been in and out of Minneapolis. So really excited to be here and try all the products, try some of this.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, let's get it.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember you coming to one of the Canna Connect events with THC-infused ice cream and just, like, loving that experience.
Yeah. No, I love making ice cream. I love cooking. In general, like I will cook all the time. My girlfriend's like, do you want to go out? Nah, you should make something. Let's make this. So we make a whole bunch of this.
Was cannabis a gateway to cooking for you, or did you start with just like, I like cooking food and I also like smoking weed?
I've always enjoyed cooking, and it's something that runs in my family a lot. Like my grandma cooks, my mom cooked, my brother's going to culinary school right now. So it's something that I've always been around, something that I've always participated in, and cannabis was actually something I didn't really discover until college. So it was a little newer to me at the time, but getting an opportunity to combine two things that I love in one space and like, it's just incredible. So
dude, I totally get that. I think what I love about cannabis is there's so many different ways you can use it, so many different parts of the culture that you can lend to that like, if you have a passion, there's probably some way that cannabis connects to it. Jordan and I have been talking about cannabis photography a lot recently, and I'm not a photographer, but do like cannabis, and hey, I'll learn about photography.
For educational purposes.
For educational purposes only.
Yeah.
Now, before I do this, I got to ask, is this a lot?
That's
a mouthful.
I think that's a good sized dab, I would say.
Okay,
if someone was like, is this enough? I'd say that's good. But if you would want to do more, you could always do more.
Let's start with this. We'll see.
Perfect.
See how this goes.
I'll tell you a quick story about why I say it that way.
Okay.
I generally prefer larger dabs. I went to a dispensary with my wife for the first time. In Colorado, they have you print on the side of the jar what a serving size is, and it's like a little dot, like a little speck.
Okay.
And so we're at the counter, she sees that, and she goes, you don't do dabs that size. So, you can do whatever recommended serving size you want. So what you'll do is set it right in the dish, or you'll scrape your oil in the dish, and then you're good to hit that dab.
So, top here, I need to take the top off.
You can leave the top on, and essentially you'll just
Oh, just like right here.
Okay, just like that. And then it's a recycler, so you can rip it as hard as you'd like.
Tanner, you are the Bill Nye the Science Guy of teaching people how to take dabs.
Wow, the Bill Nye the Science Guy of weed. I'd take that. That's pretty cool.
You're just bringing people. Oh wow, I'm smelling.
Good size. That was. Whew.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can grab that from you.
Please.
Oh yeah. We'll get it all cleaned up.
All right.
We call that the cleanup crew right there.
All right, so we're inviting people in the studio, not just to do dabs. However, I like doing dabs. Great. But we're also asking people what their high note of 2024 was. Something that was a positive of the year, something that you're thinking about, something that you're telling your friends about. I keep pushing the New Jersey drones.
Yeah, the drones.
What are they? What are they?
What is
Doesn't
happening?
matter. Doesn't matter.
But I've been seeing them in other places too. But we don't get excited.
All right. So what is your high note?
So I think my high note is coming next week. And so, as you know, I've been making ice cream, doing this for a while. For sure. And one thing I realized this year is I'm too busy to try and make ice cream for everybody that wants it. And so for the past few months, I've been working on finding a manufacturer to help me partner with me and make those things. So after about 6 months of going through looking for somebody who's going to be the right fit, who even wants to work with THC, I finally found one, and I'm going to go get their samples next week.
Hey.
And try them out, test them, see how they work, and then if this is what works for all of us, then you're going to be seeing these in stores next year.
That's cool. Congrats, man. Yeah. That's really exciting.
Thank you.
Well, if you enjoy them, we would love for you to bring them in the studio and show them off a little bit. Yeah. I'll sample them. I'll be very, very critical in my rating of it, but I know your ice cream is just fire, so I'm stoked to give that a try.
Yeah, no, thanks. Me too. I'm excited to see how it goes, and I'll have to bring some out for you guys.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in the studio today. I appreciate you ripping a dab with us. I'm so excited to hear how those samples go. Congrats again on that, and here's to more in 2025.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. We'll be right back. And we're back. Welcome, Liam. So happy to have you here.
Tanner, what's up? It feels like I am the most normie person that has sat in the studio and had a conversation with you, straight up. I am just a normie.
Well, I'm so stoked to have you here. I'd welcome you to the Dabbler Depot, but thanks for having the whole thing. So I'm super excited to have you in here to do a dab. Let's get you all heated up, but feel free to choose whatever jar smells best to you. We got a couple different rosins from all over there.
Yeah, rosins recently have been my thing. I have been really loving smoking rosin. Normally, I'm a Stores and Bickle Volcano guy, kind of
for sure.
through. But hitting some rosin recently has been super fresh. Finally, have been able to have a little bit of supply. So it's let's try something new. So
I love it. Yeah, Minnesota's concentrate scenes have really exploded over the past year or two.
Feel blessed to be around it.
Yeah. Oh, you and me both. Truly, I think for a while concentrates were here, but they were mostly being sent in from other places. I feel like now there's so many people in Minnesota making high quality stuff that it's pretty sweet. I don't hate being in Minnesota these days.
Dude, no, it makes the winter tolerable, right?
Yeah, for reals.
I'm thinking probably this one here.
Perfect. Gotta love the Calvin and Hobbes. So I'll give you the tool. Feel free to grab as much as you'd like.
Sweet. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. We let your nose choose the oil and your eyes choose how much.
Oh, that's such a blessed statement.
All right, we'll give that a second just to make sure that it gets to the right temperature. But what we've been asking people to do is to come in the studio, do a sesh with us, and then also to tell us their high note, something positive from the year, something that you thought of. I keep pushing for people to tell me about the New Jersey drones. Not yet. But what's something that you've just been thinking about or would share? You don't have to tell me right now, but after you do your dab, I would love to hear that.
Clem's Fresh Press got me feeling pretty good. The Papaya OG, straight off his delicious stuff.
Shout out to Great Moments in Weed History, a weed podcast that I really enjoy. They always start their episode by saying, this is what we're going to talk about this week. And if you're not stoned yet, press pause. And then we'll get started. And so if you're not stoned yet, press pause.
Get it going.
Or you can keep watching too. It's either way. All right, so this is going to get to temp in just a minute, and then you can put your oil right sort of on the inside of the dish there, scrape it on the wall. I will hand that to you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Liam, get it right up on the mic. Get that bubbler right up on the mic.
Jordan loves that ASMR.
Inhale now.
I think you win the award for best ASMR dab of the night. That was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, that's delicious stuff. Oh, there's nothing like fresh rosin terps. Like, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
really good flower. Yeah, please. Might be a little bit left on this also.
Oh, here we'll get in a second, but yeah, I've had people tell me before that like there's no way to get closer to like being in the room where the plants are growing than smelling a jar of rosin, where it's just like that's like the essential smell of the plant. It's one of the things that I love about it so much.
Yeah, it's so cool. It just feels like such a pure form of the whole profile of the plant. Like you're really getting those like terps. I've got this stuff, lime ice water too, that I got from amazing woman, came in from Hawaii.
For sure, yeah.
And it just smells like fresh mowed lawn. Like it's such a comforting, weird smell and weird terp profile, but it's magical. Like
I love that.
Summer.
I love
so
that
great,
so
yeah.
much. Yeah, Hawaii has a really cool hash scene, so that's a good find.
Yeah,
but
so shout out to Julie.
Yeah.
Dab and Auntie. She's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, we've talked on the show before, like the weird terp profiles that people find is gnarly.
Another one I got from her, sauerkraut super boof.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, super boof, incredible.
With a sauerkraut twist to it?
Yeah, so it is really like tangy and kind of funky.
Oh my
but
God.
then you're just getting like really good notes from that super boof, and the effects are just like, let me float. Right. And so I think Kale might have a little bit here, so
I'll have to go.
Have to get you going.
I'll have to go find him after this.
Right on.
All right, so we've been asking people to come into the studio. Tell us a high note. What is your high note? You've done the dab. Now we're ready.
Yeah, I think honestly one of my high notes of the year was the Doobie Dabbler. Being able to be there, like I had just such a great time there. I was lucky enough to be a part of the team that like put it together. Like shout out Sam, Kelly, Jordan, Kale, Sergio, like the whole team a part of it. Verist, they all killed it. Sievers, they were probably like some of the best people to ever work with. It was just so fun being a part of that festival aspect. And just kind of seeing it grow from the ground up, and I'm super excited to see what's going to happen next year.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. That event is probably the highest I've ever been in public, and so
nuts.
I'm stoked for next year. It's gonna be a trip.
Oh, absolutely. It felt like that actual festival aspect. You're walking through just kind of the market at night. The lights are glowing, music's playing, and everyone's on just kind of like a higher plane. So,
oh, yeah. You look over there, there's people wrestling. You look over there, there's people jumping on bouncy things. It was a hoot.
It was magical.
It was such a fun, I heard someone describe it, this isn't like a fresh thing, but describe it as a truly like Minnesota like county fair, but everyone stoned.
Oh,
and it felt truly like that. So I'm looking forward to next year.
Oh,
That'll be
me
fun.
too. And then what has been a high note from you? Have you probably said it a few times, but
No, you're good. So I said one earlier, the making sure that I don't get in trouble at home. That getting married, the high note of the year. Always high note. Yeah, we did that one. But so let's think. Another high note from the year. Wow. I feel like a really big high note from this year was adding Jordan onto our team in more of like a full like part of the crew kind of way.
You stop that.
No. So we got to come to the studio at the other location. Super cool. Definitely recommend people check it out. It's a really awesome room. But
Dabbler Depot.
Yeah, Dabbler
St.
Depot.
Paul, West 7th.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks for saying all the stuff. But it was sort of, we'd show up and then Jordan would be gone. And we would sort of be like passing ships in the night. He taught us how to use the cameras, and then, he was sort of had to leave.
I was there to support and make sure it happened, but I wasn't there to
We also were showing up at like 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah,
so,
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah,
so I was like, guys, I'm in bed.
Yeah, super fair. But this season, Jordan has been in the studio every single second that we've been recording, except for a couple of smoke breaks. But being here, helping to develop the show, I feel like Jordan talks about this, but I want to bring it to the forward. There's the character of us, but there's also the character of the editing and the show that has really come together. And I feel like this year, my high note is just like finding that voice of Northern Lights through our buddy Jordan. So Jordan, I know you're going to be really bashful about it, but truly, like that, I think was the high note from this year, is being able to have this team really sort of come together and be like, yeah, now we're the team. So
All right. So when should we start recording now? Are you guys rehearsed?
Yeah.
You're good? Okay.
See, and the best part is we did that a couple times before you came here. So now you're here.
Forgot to hit the big red button.
You mean the green button?
Oh well, okay. You're right. The button does start as green.
I
and
understand
then turn
now.
red when you're doing things correctly.
So when it's green, that doesn't mean you're good to go ahead and start talking. That's
right. It's red. Go.
Red, let's go.
That's why Jordan's here. So that's the.
Thank you, Tanner. I might add that, I echo that high note. This has been a project that I've absolutely fallen in love with and happy to be a part of. And you guys make it really, really, really easy to do what I do. So thank you.
Give it up to Tanner and Steve and the whole crew.
We appreciate it, guys.
Coming from that normie perspective that I started with, I listen to the podcast pretty much every week. I watch all the little Tanner's terp tastings. I watch the high notes. And so the character of Jordan being a part of these, I was literally I pulled up listening to the most recent episode and having just the 3 people play off of each other, 4 people. It's just really nice to have. It feels now like this is the team. You guys have been really killing it. And so keep it going. Minnesota needs this, so thank you guys for being a part of the community.
Oh, well, thanks, man. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
We'll give you your $20 afterward. No, I'm just kidding.
This hit was enough. Thank you.
Well, truly, thanks for coming on, and thanks for always making this place feel like home for us.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the space to share my high thoughts. So
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Well, we'll be
guys.
We'll be right back. Ever felt like running a cannabis business means running in circles just to get basic banking? Union Bank and Trust gets it. They've been helping cannabis businesses for over 10 years, solving problems like securing accounts, managing cash flow, and navigating regulations. No more jumping through hoops, no more runarounds. Just straightforward banking solutions built on trust, integrity, and performance. That's unionbankandtrust.com.
Hello, I'm Allie Mann, co-founder of Moonlight Cannabis, and today I'd like to introduce you to Moonshot. This is our newest product at Moonlight Cannabis. It is our first beverage. It has 10 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBG in a 2-ounce fluid serving. It is wild cherry flavored. Think of Kool-Aid or a cherry popsicle. It's really reminiscent of that flavor. The combination of THC and CBG is uplifting. CBG is a brain activator. The effects we have listed on here are good times and high vibrations, and that's very factual for how you're going to feel when you take this, right?
I really like when it's cold because it's glass, so it'd be a cold Moonshot, 2 o'clock, kind of when I'm getting through the day, a little tired, hit the Moonshot, and it gets me through the rest of the workday.
It's great for on the go. It's glass. It's got a resealable top so you can pop it in your bag, throw it in your pocket, bring it to a concert, a game, what have you. It's just a good, quick little option if you don't want to drink a larger beverage or have something that opens and you can't reclose again. There are no artificial flavors, no added sugars. It's all clean, all good for you. And you can find Moonshot at all Twin Cities Dabbler Depot locations.
A question that most people begin conversations with, but we're just getting to now, is what is your name? Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Steven, but my nickname is Jack.
Nice to meet you.
There's many origins of the name, but Jack is usually just fine.
And then I'm going to hear about it in just 1 second. So here you go. So I'm going to drop this.
Am I going first?
This is all you.
Oh,
all you, my friend. So
okay.
All you have to do is just inhale.
Thank you.
And you can hit it pretty hard. It's a recycler, so it will cycle the water all around, which is where it gets nice. Is that like a plug-in hybrid version? It is, yeah. Runs off of a nice battery. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you were saying the origin of Jack.
Yeah. Do you know who Jack LaLanne is, by chance?
I don't. No.
Speaking of juicers, I almost mentioned it outside, but he was one of the original people to lead like the health and wellness from home. So he used to have the TV show called The Jack LaLanne Show.
Okay.
And so he would teach people how to exercise and use their home environment in order to, you know, advance their health. And then he did it pretty much from TV. So it's essentially what we see now with a bunch of Instagram reels.
Yeah.
That was his thing. So he was also on like the Simpson episode. Like he literally for his birthday, like chained up a bunch of boats and swam across Alcatraz.
Incredible. Okay.
He did like incredible things for his birthday. So anyway, throughout life, when I was born, something happened where my mom got reminded of, I reminded him or her of Jack LaLanne. And so it just stuck after that. So it was just Jack.
Interesting. Okay. I like that. Well,
Yeah.
Jack, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I'm glad I came. This was all last minute. I was just telling Steven, I was just like, I just saw your Instagram post. I just got connected with like the cannabis stuff in Minnesota this summer. This is my first time. Welcoming arms and a sick setup. So yeah, I'm about it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. So we're having people in the studio, to sesh with us, but also to ask them the question, what is your high note? Now we do a high note where it's sort of just something we've been thinking about while smoking, something we've shared with a friend.
Yeah.
What is your high note?
I quite literally have a high note.
Okay.
I don't know if I can produce it for you right now, but I do have a little snippet. So are you familiar with like whistle tone by chance?
I'm not. No, what is whistle tone?
Maybe I'll see if I can do it. Maybe just give me a second. A little bit higher than that. I didn't get what I actually wanted, but I'm not warmed up right now, but this is I'll keep it away from the mic because it's kind of high pitch.
What? All right, so
You get what I mean?
So you're going to have to walk me through this a bit more. So how is it that you're making that sound?
So
that's not just like you're like what is that in sorts?
Yes, so from what I've found, there's actually a few different places from the vocal tract it can actually come from. But the most typical one that you're going to find is essentially through the vocal cords.
Okay.
And the setup of your mouth and your throat. And essentially you just are able to hold that position and you're able to pass the air through. And it creates a whistle.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is bringing me back to like voice lessons as a kid. Talking about like the diaphragm and like make sure you're upright.
Yep, your pelvic floor is huge for it. How you breathe, your head, neck, and jaw is huge for that.
Interesting. So I got to ask, what motivated you to learn or what was even like, how did you first learn about this?
So I knew about it for a while, but for some reason, when I saw the song Save Your Tears by Ariana Grande and The Weeknd, and she had her live performance and she whistle sound, I literally, when I saw it, I said, forget it, I'm doing that. And so I've been just on the journey of discovering the voice. It's been about 3-4 years now, and it took me 2.5 years since I saw that video to get to that point, which is this summer. So that was literally my high note. Like,
wow.
Literally, and I think I hit like
the highest
I think
note
I hit
we've
like
had.
an I think like an A6 or a B. I forget how high I got, but I went past what I thought I could do. Way past.
And that's beyond like a singing vocal range. This is like pushing it to like way new heights.
Yes, but do you know what's really cool about learning that is that it really shows what you can do and how much genetics and, oh, you can't sing, you can't do that. No, literally, bro, you just have to learn the awareness of that space. And if you don't know it, you don't know it yet. But once you do, you get it. And so it's like about singing, whether about it's like a skill or like a career. That's what I was telling you. I was like, if you know how to take care of your voice and you know how to strengthen it, you actually literally know how to take care of your entire body, both in a health perspective, both in like a self-awareness and an energetic perspective, both that of metaphysical and literally that of energy and that of like a mood.
Yeah.
Yes. So
That's
it's
super
all
cool.
here.
Wow. I love that. So this
Yes.
has been like a 2.5 year journey. I mean, do you have a goal point of like, I can sustain this note for this long, or like sort of what's the journey that you're on, or is the path the journey?
Yeah. So if I was able to choose to be able to produce that whistle whenever I wanted to, that would be it. But what's really funny is when you listen to other people, like for example, Mariah Carey or I don't know if I heard Ariana Grande say it, but like other people who know how to do their whistle, there's something about it where it's a little sporadic. Like it's not always on demand. It can be like you can really, because now ever since I was able to get to that point, it's more consistent, it's more frequent, and it's stronger. Like, you know, it got better and better and better. But there's also this strange element of it's just not there. Whether it's the moisture or like the humidity, and whether it's the fatigability, because you don't have to squeeze. Everyone thinks you have to squeeze. You actually don't have to squeeze, like low key, like at all. Like you can literally like.
Wow.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud for the.
No. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
No.
But that's what I say. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be what you think.
Yeah.
And with singing and like with acting, do you like movies? Actually, I actually know nothing about you.
No worries. So I'm Tanner. I do the podcast with Steve. And so, yeah, love movies. Did choir when I was like a kid and enjoyed it. But then they had to choose between band or choir. And then, long story short, went the band route.
Okay, wait, do I have to guess? I'm going to say trombone.
So not a bad guess. Percussionist.
Percussion.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
you
to joke
are.
with people. Not a real musician, but
Okay.
yeah. But no. Really never got that ability to like hone in the singing voice or figure out like what is that. I did like all this choir as a kid, and then other people kept getting better, and I didn't, and it's just so.
Yes.
How it goes.
Do you have a musical desire to want to sing or to like learn about the voice, or are you?
I think I've gotten to a point now where I'm comfortable singing in public and knowing that I don't sound great, but that I sound, I think, good enough where people aren't like off-put directly by it. Like I think no one would be like, "Wow, I want to listen to Tanner sing," but I think nobody would be like, "Wow, like I really wish he stopped like right now." I think instead people are like, yeah, he can go for another like 10 seconds and then it's annoying. And I'm cool being right at that point.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
that's really good, actually. I'm really glad you said that.
Yeah. I think there are people that are good singers. I agree with you. It's not like a genetics thing. I think it's more of like they have the passion and drive to like put in the effort and energy.
Yeah.
It's the same as like glass blowing. I'm not a glass blower, but the people that do, it's not like you're born good at it, but it's that you have the desire to like hone that craft and continue working at it.
For sure.
And I think there are some people that are like naturally good singers, but the really good singers, that's not just like, they didn't just wake up like that per se.
Beyonce did though.
All right, you got me there. With Queen Bee, I feel like that's fair, but what if you had to give people like one music recommendation as coming into 2025? What's something that you might recommend that people check out?
Well, I guess it would have.
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
To be wicked, but do you know what? I'll be honest. I haven't seen it yet. I wanted to go with someone. I didn't want to go alone. I will go alone, but it will be for sure before the new year that I'll see it. But I was hoping I could see it with family by the time they come in. But I would say you have to see it.
All right.
Especially with like the operatic.
And see, I've also not yet seen it, but saw the live show twice because it's so good.
And I still need to see it live. I have to do the whole experience.
Highly recommend.
So I usually didn't like musicals.
Okay.
But because there's this journey, this vocalist, I'm like, I have to explore all genres.
Yeah.
So I'll sing opera.
Okay, very cool.
I'll do anything. You just have to learn it. Like, it's just a different sound. Just make the sound you want. Just like when you mix and master something. Is it a good song? Is that what you want? You know?
That's fair. I like that. Well, thanks for coming in the studio.
Thanks
for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
Happy
is
holidays.
Wonderful. How special. This is the ease at which you guys do this is slick.
Oh, we appreciate it. No, truly. Thanks for coming in.
Shout out MN Pressure. That's where we get our dabs at.
Bingo. Shout out MN Pressure. Oh,
thank you so
I got it. Oh, thank you. I got to meet them at some point. Alrighty, and we're back. So we do a segment on the show called The High Note. In essence, it's just something that you thought of when you got high. It's like a note of you were stoned. So we're going to get you a dab here. And then at the end, you can tell me just something you've been thinking about this week, something you told someone about, a Roger thought, if you will, whatever it is. So we'll grab this off of here, get it on to the dab right. Make sure we get it at the right temp. You've used a terp slurper before, I imagine? Yeah. So we'll wait for it to get to the right temp, and then we'll jump on in. But first, who are you, and what is it that you do?
My name is Zach, one of the owners of On Point, bridging the gap between cannabis and mushrooms. As you see right here on the side, we're the Rooted brand, and we have some of the energized products. But kind of partnerships with Retro and Doc Dabs. North Minneapolis based, rooted from Northside. Kind of started in mushrooms and slowly got into cannabis around 2018, 2019.
And then I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to give this to you.
And it's been a blast.
I met you at a Canna Connect event well over a year ago at this point. And you were the person who told me like the most about mushrooms that I'd ever heard about. And I'm not talking about psychoactive mushrooms, which are cool. But you told me about all these functional mushrooms that are in different chocolate products that you made. You gave me an Energize chocolate bar that was like orangey, citrusy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was up so late that night. And I remember thinking like, shit, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's a collaboration with Gabe I did with that one.
Yeah.
Doing lab extractions.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It's tasty.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Hashy Gilmore. Oh, and I got it. Don't even worry about it, my friend.
But
we're running bar tonight.
Yeah, so functional mushrooms with cannabis, honestly, really, I feel like making those two relationships symbiotically with each other does a lot of stuff, even in the forest floor. So why not in our bodies? Excuse me.
Good.
But yeah, honestly, being able to launch some of these products with the help with some individuals I've been working with has been really, really, it's been nice because I couldn't do it myself.
All right.
And also your help throughout this time as well.
It's been such a treat being able to work with people in the industry that are making just such cool products. Like I was the guy who a couple years ago when people started first widely putting together mushrooms and cannabis products together, I remember thinking like, whoa, slow your roll. Like I just want good cannabis products. Like don't be adding all this other stuff to it. And I've just found so much of they talk about the entourage effect of terpenes. There's the entourage effect of other compounds and plants 100%. That create whole wellness that I think is just so cool.
Well, it's just how cannabis works in our body. It's the functional fungus is really good for the endocannabinoid system as well. Or not endocannabinoid system, but essentially your anti-inflammatory and such. Yeah. Your health, wellness, skincare, everything. But
totally. It's a cool plant. So, all right, the reason we have you on here, not just to do the dab, although I appreciate that as well. What is a high note? What's something that you've been thinking about while you've been stoned? Something maybe you told a story about or something you recently learned you've been thinking about? What do you got?
I mean, honestly, what I've been thinking about the most is just Christmas cookies.
Okay.
Snow. Getting ready to go cross-country skiing in Theodore Worth. Been out a few times already, but...
What is like the perfect Christmas cookie or holiday cookie in your mind? Like what is it like a classic sugar cookie?
I am all about that peanut butter cookie with the chocolate kiss on top.
Oh, all right. There we go. I love that one.
Or the chocolate crinkles. My grandmother used to make them so like powdered sugar outside. Extra crispy on the outside too. And then like soft doughy. Oh man. Yeah. Honestly, it's hard to, I mean, I love sugar. I try to stay away from it as much as possible. At holidays, I have to eat it all the time and grab it seconds always.
Fair. Well, thanks so much for coming in, doing a dab with us.
Thank you very
Quick
much.
before you go, for people who want to maybe follow along, learn more about On Point, where would you send them?
We're On Point. On Instagram, it's onpoint_CBD, otherwise On Point Foraging. We teach classes of mushroom foraging in the woods. Otherwise, we'll be around. We're at Legacy, a whole bunch of well-known cannabis stores. But thank you very much, Tanner.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. We'll be right back. Northern Lights is brought to you by Dabbler Depot THC. With 3 Twin Cities locations, Dabbler Depot is proud to deliver expert knowledge, finely crafted products from gummies and seltzers to grow tents and nutrients, as well as a one-of-a-kind cannabis shopping experience to all levels of enthusiasts, growers, and the canna curious. Their East Side St. Paul store, Seed and Sesh, is also the happy home of the podcast you're listening to right now. So be sure to stop by every Friday between 2 and 4 p.m. to get a live look at your favorite cannabis podcast being recorded. On top of that, you're also welcome to come to the Seed and Sesh every Tuesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. for their home grower meetup night. Come hang out and get connected with the ever-growing cannabis community here in the Twin Cities. Dabbler Depot's Seed and Sesh can be found at 951 Payne Avenue, St. Paul. Their flagship store is located at 1545 West 7th Street, St. Paul, and their South Minneapolis location is at 4152 South 28th Street, right across the street from the Baker's Wife Bakery. Or you can shop online, DabblerDepotTHC.com. Dabbler Depot THC, growing plants, growing community. Northern Lights is brought to you by the Winter Beer Dabbler, Minnesota's premier craft beer festival. The winter weather will be upon us before we know it, which means the best beer party of the year is getting closer and closer. Join your fellow hardy Minnesotans at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds on February 22nd, 2025 from 3 to 6:30 p.m. and enjoy unlimited samples from hundreds of breweries, cideries, and other yummy libation creators. With general admission, early access, and designated driver tickets available, there is an opportunity for everyone in your crew to have a brew-induced blast. For tickets and more information, you can visit beerdabbler.com/festivals. Winter Beer Dabbler. So, Minnesota. Wonderful.
Clap, clap.
Well, so
clap,
let's
clap.
do the
We've been
whole...
watching a lot of Sesame Street at my house. So,
okay.
Yeah, letter of the day, clap, clap. So, thank you.
Do you think kids' TV shows are more fun stoned?
Absolutely.
All right.
Definitely, absolutely.
Glad others agree with me.
And if you are a parent, as I am, my son will be 2 in, he'll be 3 in about 2 weeks.
Wow,
which is
fun.
wild. Yes, it's super, super fun. But watching Sesame Street on Sunday morning after, you've had to do the parent pass off, and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a trip to the bathroom, and we're going to have some fun, and then we're going to come down. We're going to watch 3 episodes of Sesame Street on the couch.
I love that.
It is the best.
I love that.
It's
I
very,
could
very
totally picture just being like, I do want to sing along with this song right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's...
Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Well, so you first, before we jump into all of this, you have to do a little bit of who you are.
Of who I am.
Because we've had so many conversations.
We have.
But people on the camera, they don't know who you are. So,
I am Kelly. I'm Kelly Zarth.
Hi, Kelly.
I got to know these lovely folks because I had the absolute pleasure of working for Dabbler Depot, Dabbler Depot THC, Beer Dabbler, Doobie Dabbler of the Under the Umbrellas for about 6 months. It was short. I loved it. It was super fun. I literally met so many people that are now pretty much almost family in my house, which is really cool. So I'm now in corporate America, which is really weird and totally doesn't matter and is very not like me. But I have benefits now, and I have a little one at home, and I can,
You're working in an industry that's not just waiting for licensure at some point to happen. So
it's very,
shout
very
out to
odd,
a real
yeah.
job.
I work in finance.
Ugh, I love how you say that.
I honestly, it's very weird. I feel like I'm playing with Monopoly money because I don't know anything about it, and B, just honestly don't really care.
Wow.
But I'm learning a lot. It's very cool. I enjoy it. My coworkers are really lovely. I have so many resources and support needs, which is something that's new because I've always worked for independently owned small businesses, mostly
Totally.
restaurants and stuff and events and things, but it's a new world. But now I am in a position where I want to take the free time that I have and try to be more of a patron and actually try to feed into more of my hobbies that I've always wanted to do
sure.
for myself, but have always related it to work or having to capitalism. What can I do to make myself more money?
How can I take my passion and monetize it to the point that it's really really no longer my passion.
Right, exactly. So now I can actually like have free time and try to do like passion projects. So I'm trying to do kind of I'm taking my local vaudevillian and burlesque fandom.
Okay.
And kind of dream of doing like production stuff kind of in the background someday and trying to do something with that. So now I'm kind of taking some of my night and weekend time to try and launch my project called Maven. More coming soon.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, definitely
we'll come to Snowy Shenanigans here at Seed and Sesh on January 11th.
Oh, okay. Perfect. We'll put
Burlesque show.
Put the link there in the
Super
show notes.
weird. Super awesome. It's going to be great. Produced by Mouthy Menace, which is a mouthful of chia and Velvet Menace. If you're in town, please go see them. They're incredible performers and incredible producers.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool. I love the shout out.
Yes.
Well, so I totally echo what you say about the family that's sort of developed in the people that you meet, and absolutely consider you family. So I was so excited to see you when you pulled in here and have you come and join us in the studio. So
yeah, I had the night off from being a mom, so I was very excited to come and then crash the party. I came late, and now I see people packing up out there, but I'm like, no, it's okay because now all my friends are still here.
Absolutely. The party, I'm pretty sure we're going to be here till at least like 2 or 3 a.m. Right, Jordan? That's
excellent.
Yo, I got a hard out 8:50.
All right. There we go.
I'm just kidding. I'm here all night.
He doesn't even have
I have a
kids.
hammock in the basement.
I feel like Jordan is the kid. Like so many people, I think, use their like. I don't mean use in a pejorative way, but like I gotta leave because I have to go deal with my kids. Like it's the like.
Oh my God, that's so real.
But I feel like Jordan is just like, no, I gotta go home because like I gotta go to bed. Like he is the kid.
I am my own parent.
You are your own
I am
parent.
my own parent.
You're good at it.
Because if I don't get my nap, I go
right.
And if I don't get my food, I go like
sure.
I'm a fickle little critter.
But you're good at like keeping it good, keeping it tight.
Acting.
But then it's also hard for your friends because then they can never see you.
That's true. Yeah, they.
But you can during the day if you come on down.
I know that's honestly why I was so excited because I was like, I get to see Jordan and Kale and Tanner and Steven. And honestly, I brought 4 gift bags because I have something for each of you.
Okay.
But I really want to give you yours because I don't know if you remember this. This is my home grow. First ever. Jordan actually encouraged me to take pictures and things at home, and I did in the beginning, and then I got bad and forgot. But that is 1 won. I got that from Doug's Nugs.
Okay,
so I got that from Brian. My husband and I both did some home grow this summer, and he did his own thing. I don't remember what strain he grew, honestly, but Kale helped me start them from seed, and they were regs, so we kind of had to figure out what was going on. I ended up getting 3 female plants out of the 5 that I planted. And so, yeah, it's very, very...
I love it. It's like
rustic.
lemon.
It's like lemony minty.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it.
Yeah.
There's just something about it.
Yeah.
It's nice, right? It kind of has like a little bit of like a floral, but kind of citrus notes. And what is really great about it for me and why I wanted to...
Are you getting that at home, folks?
It's loud.
I like that. That's good. But as a parent, I want to be responsible. And so Brian told me that this was a strain that he put together that was a 1-to-1, so THC and CBD.
Very cool.
And I was like, well, hey, that sounds really great for people trying to watch little ones, but also get through the craziness of life.
Sweet. Well, thank
you. So yes,
you.
And the reason why this is important, especially for Tanner, is when I was working at this shop, and one of the times when they came into film, Tanner, because he's such a wonderful person, came in and shared his home grow with everyone that was here. And there were quite a few people, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great, da-da-da-da. And he was like, oh, you want a dab? And I was like, absolutely, that sounds awesome. Hadn't really eaten much that day. Took this giant dab with you. Mm-hmm. Talked for like 20 minutes, came back, and you were like, I have some home grow. Do you want some? And I was like, oh my God, really? You were like, yeah, totally. And I went to town on that bag. You had this big Ziploc, and I just like, shoop, doop, 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 on 2 different strains.
But you're talking about like those were like the giant, like the Bovida bags, right?
That was when you brought in your like gallon bag.
See, and what's funny is we recorded that whole thing, and then this was before the days of Jordan editing, so we never really got it put together. So this is like unreleased clips that exist out there.
So sign up for the Patreon.
Yeah, sign up for the Patreon. It'll come out next year.
So you might have that awkward moment for me living somewhere.
I didn't at all remember that.
Yeah, so I took a bunch. You had 2 different strains. It was blueberry cupcake.
Yeah, blueberry cupcake and then Oofta OG.
Yes, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. He's so nice. And then I got home, realized how much I had taken, and I was like, oh my God. And we didn't know each other that well yet. And I literally texted like 3 different people, and I was like, I need Tanner's phone number right now because I need to Venmo him money. And then I sent you $25.
So I got that, and I was like, oh, she didn't have to do that. Like, don't worry about it.
Who's this lady?
That's so funny. So, I had also done a few dabs.
Sure.
I literally was trying to give out as much of that flower as possible.
Oh, great. Well, now I don't feel so bad.
I had no idea. So this is sort of funny. So.
When I was packing it up today, I was like, "Oh yay! Now I get to give some of my homegrown to Tanner."
So now
especially
Tanner
now, I appreciate.
You definitely
I'm
do not
you
owe me
today.
any money for that at all.
Wow. Well, truly, thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Well, so sort of per usual for any time that we hang out, do you want to dab?
Absolutely.
All right,
I got here. I came to the end of the party, and I am not high at all.
Oh well, let's.
I'm hot, but not high.
Let's change that very quickly.
Great.
So we've got a couple different jars in front of you. Some are fruity, some are gassy. You can sort of pick whichever one smells best to you, and we'll get you a dab.
Fruity.
Perfect. So then I'd recommend either this one, which is going to be more of a rotten fruit, or this one, which is going to be more of a sweet fruit.
Ooh, sweet fruit.
Sort of whichever your palate prefers.
The heady terp pusher.
Yeah, some guy out of Oregon who sent me some jars to take pictures of, and
some cute Calvin and Hobbes, a little.
Yeah, I've been talking to people about that tonight. The fun of the legacy market, where you're never going to see Calvin and Hobbes dabs in a dispensary, but
I think this looks.
You'll see them on Instagram.
Smells delightful.
Perfect. Well, so feel free to grab as large of a dab as you would like. I know it's dangerous.
We don't have the tablespoon here.
And then we're going to let this cool down to the proper temp, and then we'll get you a nice big dab here. And then after that, I'm going to ask you a high note. So something positive from the year, something that you think of when you get stoned. You could tell me about the drones and no. I'm not going to talk about that one anymore. You can tell me about anything you want, just something that you're thinking about or positive. Sure. We'll let you do the dab first, and then I'll put you on the spot. But you've got probably about another 10 seconds, and then you should be ready. And then with this one, you can put the oil sort of right into the dish. So you can like scrape it on the side.
Excellent.
Best. There is that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We need some like fun.
The microphone is not where you inhale. No.
One of these days, we're going to do enough dabs in the studio that I'm going to go and try to hit the microphone. It's going to be like, oh.
At this point, let's just reach out to Rode, see if they can make a rig/microphone.
Mm-hmm.
They've got bowls / coffee mugs. Like, why can't we have microphones and dab rigs morphed into one?
Whoa!
Oh, you're all good. It's the fun of the borosilicate top. Here, I can grab that from you.
Can you tell I don't take dabs very often?
No, not at all.
That's what I've been saying, though. Tanner is here to pioneer the trail for all of us. Like,
Ooh.
I think we've had a fun blend of people who have had a lot of experience with dabs and people who have very little experience with dabs coming and joining us in the studio tonight.
I just, I love my beaker bong.
Yeah.
Classic.
That's super fair. Yeah, we were gifted, shout out Curtis White, for the incredible Santa.
Oh, so festive. Love that.
Oh, yeah. So coming back to this,
yes.
Your high note from the year, not just a good business idea, but what's something that you thought of, something positive, something that you're going to carry with you into 2025?
Man, well, something that I will definitely carry with me far beyond 2025. I mentioned earlier that I worked for this shop for 6 months. Mm-hmm. I started March 12th, and then I think I left on my 6-month anniversary, and that was just a coincidence.
Okay.
But getting to meet the people was incredible, but then getting to work on a project from scratch, Doobie Dabbler, and when I got hired and when talking with the owner, he's like, yeah, I think we might do this kind of thing. Like, have you heard of the Beer Dabbler? And I was like, oh yeah, of course, And he's like, well, I think we might try to do something that's like, maybe kind of like that, but with cannabis. And I was like, that's incredible. I would absolutely love to help you with that.
Yeah.
And getting to work on that project from its inception was really, really special. It was something that I have always wanted to do, especially because when I got into festival planning and event planning, it was always because I was the person that was adaptable enough that could do that person's job and that person's job and this person's job when they left, and then okay, so you're going to run the expo on the line at the restaurant, and then you're also going to answer the phone, but then you're also going to plan this festival for us. Cool.
For sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
You're wearing 6 hats.
Literally, I joked for many years that on my business card, I wanted it to be like Kelly professional hat rack. Because it's just, what hat am I wearing? Not even today, but like this hour.
Yeah.
This minute. So getting to do a festival that was from where we got to decide how it was framed, where we got to decide how, for the most part, and that it's also the first time that I worked collaboratively with a team of partners where there were different stakes at play for different people, and it wasn't just all one amalgamation that we're all kind of coming from the same place. It was different groups coming from different places and finding how to meet in the middle and how to compromise and how to share ideas appropriately, efficiently, especially because you don't work with those people every day and you only meet once a week. You're like, all right, we got 2 hours this week, what's the map gonna look like, and getting to make a lot of those decisions and doing them because I knew deep down what I was doing. Like it was like really confirming for me because I was like, okay, I've done this whole formulaic thing before where the event Bible has already been built for me. And I'm like, okay, this totally makes sense. Plug in, plug and plug and play, plug and plug and plug and play, maybe make some adjustments here. Cool. But getting to go, I've had experience from over here and I know how to talk about ingress egress. I've had experience from over here, so I know how to talk about ticketing. I've had experience from over here, so I know how to talk about entertainment. I've had experience from over here because I know all about operational logistics and systems. It's like, it was really cool to kind of be in a position where like, I spent so much time going, what am I going to be when I grow up? Like, what am I going to do? I don't really know what I'm good at. I've just been a server for my whole life or whatever. And then getting to do something like that and sitting back and going, wait a minute, look at that. Like that Paul Rudd reel. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us. Like we got to sit, especially after Friday, like after the first night, and all the staff just got to sit together, and I got to put on like my first burlesque show under the tent. And like, God, that felt so cool.
Yeah.
That was like the highest high I think I've like ever had, other than seeing Lucius at the Fitzgerald Theater. If you ever have the opportunity to do it, like truly spiritual. But that was
so cool.
So great.
I remember just the night after Saturday, the 2-day event was over. The like 8,
was that when we went to Perkins, or did we?
We just went to Perkins.
God, we were so tired.
Bloomington, Eden.
The giant one that's off of 494 by Bobby's and Steve's.
We sat down at the table and like nobody really talked. We just kind of like stared vapidly off into the distance because we had been going for
at our waters.
Like, we all just had like ice water and nothing else, and we were all just like zoned out together because we had done this thing. We had been like, all right, we didn't know if this was gonna go. We didn't know if it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And it went, and we were able to just kind of sit in Perkins. Our waiter's name was Jeff. Bless Jeff, wherever you are. He dealt with some inconsiderate. We were inconsiderate, but we were definitely not present. We were like.
We were a bit in the void,
like 1,000-yard
post-event void.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys truly accomplished something that will stand the test of time. Because going into the future, we're of course going to have more weed events. Like that's just the inevitability of it. But this summer was, I think, the last opportunity before we're going to have licensure really be guiding how these events are able to happen.
Where it's still gray area.
Yeah, where like the question of how do we want this event to go, it's just sort of you guys deciding it. Like obviously there are the hemp rules that we've had here, but outside of that, it's like, what does the crew at Dabbler Depot want to see?
Yeah.
And it came to fruition. And like what an incredible, I unfortunately was only able to be there for a Saturday. I was so fucking stoned. I had to go up to people days later and be like, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. I saw you. I
was in another
couldn't
dimension
in that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, incredible event. And I'm glad to hear that it's a high note for you, because I know having thrown events, sometimes you're not able to enjoy the event itself. You're able to say like, I'm glad that we accomplished that. But like the day itself is like, yeah, that was a day at work.
Yes. Yes.
But to hear, you know, months out still that like that amalgamation of everything, that's the high note. I love that. I think that's so cool.
Like I remember hanging out with, I think it was either just Sam or it might have been Jordan and Sam. I don't know. We were probably talking to the shop, whatever. And forewarning, I am getting a little high now, so I might lose my train of thought. But this is the high note,
it's allowed.
You know?
That's if not encouraged.
Fuck, where was I going with that?
You were talking about being with Sam and Jordan.
And we were talking about just. Oh, yes, now I remember. So we were talking about Doobie Dabbler, and I was kind of explaining about how with my whole career thus far, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. And we finished that, and I did that. And at the end, I was like, that's what I want to do. And so like coming to that, and especially being able to get to know the people that I was able to have the conversations with that also kind of helped to bring me out of that, or bring that out of me, was really, really special.
Cool.
And really cool.
There's no reason you don't deserve a killer job in the cannabis industry.
Thank
Well,
you.
and like I said, there's going to be so many more weed events in the future, and like having the experience of, oh no, I helped throw one of the few weed events that has legally happened.
Well, and what's funny is
it's cool.
I think there's probably a good chance that there's a lot of people that don't know that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, because I only worked in the cannabis industry for 6 months, and I had to learn it when I got in it, and I was like, all right, boom, manager, let's do it. Let's learn all this shit. Let's da-da-da-da-da. And I tried. What got me through junior year tap class was fake it till you make it. So like, shuffle off to Buffalo, baby. But you know, I did learn a fucking lot, and I did learn a lot about like what it's like to throw events at a larger scale than what I had done before, which was a big goal as to why I wanted to work, you know, of course I wanted to work for the owner of the Beer Dabbler. Like, look, if I can throw in 10, over 1,000 person events. And I wanted to learn how to do that on a larger scale, because I was working on more the kind of like 3,000 and less, or like small scale intimate kind of stuff. And that was what was exciting me about the shop. You know, I was like, oh, we're going to, throw all these certain kind of events.
For sure.
Like burlesque shows.
Yeah.
And do it with like, an intimate event, but like learning that. And where was I going with that now? These dabs are too good, Tanner.
I think it means we need another one.
But yeah, no, it was a really great experience, and honestly, like I don't know if I'll necessarily come back to the quote unquote cannabis industry. I think as a career, I do think that I learned that there's a lot of adjacent stuff with like hobbies and things that I was interested in, and kind of what I mentioned earlier with like using my free time now to kind of be more of a patron and be more of a using my time for maybe kind of philanthropic in those areas. So like volunteering, donating my money towards, like causes with instinct. Even Petty Treason, who was one of the producers that we worked with for Doobie Dabbler, she texted me the other day because I was now connected with her, and she's now a part of my network because of Doobie, and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do some events that that are interested with cannabis and like cannabis law and education around that." And I was like, "Awesome! Here are the people that you need to talk to." And if I hadn't been a part of this, and if I hadn't done that, then a resource. Yeah, I would love, and that's kind of what my idea is with Maven too, is wanting to just be a connecting resource and kind of going, ooh, I'm a fan of this. Ooh, like I want to promote these people that I think are doing such cool things. Even if I'm not directly involved, I can be a resource by going, hey, what if I got a collection together that was a resource of links for certain things that people are looking for, profiles on people or businesses that are local and doing kinds of things. So, I think it could be a really cool connection. And if it comes down the road where people want to talk to me and do cool stuff together, I just want to meet cool people and do cool stuff. I'm going to do my like daytime, job. But then once it's 4:30 and I'm out, as long as I have a babysitter, I want to do what makes me feel good.
This is me vouching for Kelly. If anybody has a job.
Yeah, do you have a social or something we can put in the links?
So that's going to be my Maven one is, I just adjusted it. I think it's Mama Maven MN.
Perfect. We'll check the show notes. We'll put it down there.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. There's not really that much there right now, but we're working on it. But there will be by January 11th.
There we go.
Deadlines are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you have moderate to severe ADHD. Unmedicated.
Welcome to Northern Lights. That's sort of our whole bit.
Honestly, it's great. You guys are doing such a cool thing. And I really hope. I love that you guys have added Jordan. He has such a creative mind. And you guys you all have such creative minds and logistical minds that come from different areas. And together, I think you're just going to be like such an incredible trifecta.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future with of you guys.
Oh.
That's so nice.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah. Never.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in the studio, doing a dab with us, telling us your high note. And I'm excited to see more of you in 2025.
Yeah. Let's hang out.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll be right back. Today's episode of Northern Lights is presented by North Star Law Group, a trusted partner to small businesses in Minnesota's legal cannabis industry. Whether you've already applied for a license or just getting started, attorney Jen Riza and her team can help you build a compliant business, identify and navigate risks, put together an application, and keep you informed about the ever-changing Minnesota cannabis landscape. Are you ready to add North Star to your team? Visit northstarlaw.com/cannabis and let North Star Law Group guide you through confidently opening your doors. Again, that's northstarlaw.com/cannabis. And we're back. We're sitting here today with Casey Hedican. How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Super excited to have you in the studio today for an extended Tanner's Chirp tasting. We have a bunch of jars of things that you grew over the summer. We're going to do some dabs and talk about what you grew.
Let's do it.
So first off, how long have you been growing in Minnesota? Sort of what does your cannabis history look like?
2018, when the Farm Bill was passed, we got our license and grew a couple acres for a few years here outdoor Minnesota. So pretty much 2018.
Sweet.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, it was fun to be able to come out and help you harvest during the end of the summer, early parts of the fall there. And some of those plants are now in these jars in front of us. So let's sort of jump in. We took a dab right off before we started recording. We're going to do another dab here. I'm going to start with the Mila Kunis.
All right.
This is one of my favorites. I love things that have like a super sweet vanilla-y smell to it. And this is spot on sweet.
Well, and you and your wife helped harvest.
Yeah, that's true. That always adds a little extra flavor to it. But I mean, tell me a little bit more about where does Mila Kunis come from? The plant, not the actress.
Mila comes from Honest Genetics. I believe he's out of Washington or Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cross between garlic glaze and cookie jar. I popped a few beans last year and found that one that I really liked. She's kind of a slow grower, but the terps are very unique. It's pretty vanilla, sweet vanilla cookie dough.
Yeah, totally. Here, Jordan, you want to give that a smell there? Yes, please. Pass it over. Yeah, anything that has that sweet profile, I think is a little bit more, not unique isn't the wrong word, but people have been really leaning into like the gassy,
Fruits
funky,
and gases,
for sure.
yeah.
That anytime you have something that is just like straight vanilla, it's always a
different.
treat.
It's
for
different.
Sure.
I mean, it used to be around, but not so much anymore because a lot of the fruits are dominating the market now, you know, so a lot of the orange and super boof and all that. A little closer.
You say super boof like it's a negative. That's people love it.
People do love it, yeah. I've had orange terps for quite some time, and it just kind of falls short for me on the orange side. So.
We've talked about this before off camera, where you definitely have a lot of history in like the sour tangy days.
Absolutely.
Where that's a good orange.
My favorite. Yeah.
The modern day creamy sweet orange doesn't really.
I tend to compare everything to the sour tangy, so that's fair. That's kind of where it falls short for me. I would say I yearn for that sour tange that I haven't had in so long, and then I get something and I'm like, it's good, but it's not quite there, you know.
Super fair.
Yeah.
So you were saying this one is a little bit of a slower grower. Does that mean it's a bit more challenging to grow outdoors in Minnesota, or what are your thoughts on that?
The vigor. It's more of a short, cushier plant.
Okay,
so
for sure.
It doesn't have the stretch or the vigor that some other ones do. It does come through on the yield because she has some fat, chunky nugs in
For
that.
sure.
So it kind of equals out in that perspective.
That definitely makes sense. Well, I mean, I love Mila Kunis. This is such a fun one. Yeah, I really can't talk too much about this one. I people who watch this show know that anything on like that citrus, fruity side, I love. But I've really been leaning more into like that blueberry, sweet, like muffiny cookie notes.
Some new
that
things.
I think are fun.
Some new things, you know. Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah,
so I like to grow things that nobody else is growing. I like to find unique terpene profiles that like nobody else really has. That way people can compare it to the everyday super boof or whatever.
For sure.
You know.
Yeah, well, that one's definitely a fun one. Yeah. So we're going to keep moving along here. We've got a lot of oil. We got a lot of dabs to do. That's not a bad problem to have.
Not at all.
What should we talk about next? We've got a few in front of us.
This one is extremely unique. I traded a cut of my papaya power that I hunted to Paisley Acres in Michigan. He's up in the UP, and he bred and created this strain, I'm not sure, a few years ago. And it is just so funky and unique. It's almost like a Parmesan cheese mixed with feet.
Yeah.
Sweaty locker.
Totally.
But then when you dab it, coming off the tongue, it's just so flavorful. It's hard to explain even.
Yeah, the Parmesan cheese I think is like such an apt smell where you really give a whiff of it and it's like, wow, like that's funky, that's gnarly, it's cheesy. Let's let the official smeller Jordan give that a smell there.
So that one, I got the cut later in the season, and I didn't get it in probably until July.
Okay.
So it went full term, but it wasn't as big as some of my other plants were.
What are your thoughts on that one?
That's unctuous, baby. That is unctuous.
We got some good resin off her for sure, though.
I do think that, yeah, cheesy Parmesan, like,
yeah,
almost not garlicky, but like Italian herbs, like I don't have a box in my brain for that one.
It's funk, and a lot of people are like, I don't know if I should like that smell or not, but you just can't quit smelling it. Like, oh my, what? Oh, yeah,
totally. It is really just like gnarly. Like it's just like a cheesy smell. It almost even has like a nuttiness to it. Like, all right, well let's give it a taste here. So we'll heat it up in the Puffco. We're gonna go super low temp on this because, like you were saying, I find that just pulls out the flavor so much from it. Which is crazy because I think it has a lot of unctuosity on the nose.
Unctuosity.
There's a lot going on in there for sure. I love it though. I'll definitely keep it around for a while. It's up there in one of my top fives.
I'll let you hit that. I feel like I want to like mix it with butter and spread it across some like garlic toast.
Marinate a steak with it.
Oh, garlic toast. Yeah. Here, give that a try, Jordan. Yeah. I think you'll see once you get a taste of that, like even so much more of that, like garlicky, toasty, cheesy.
That toastiness. I think I didn't get the nuttiness you mentioned on the nose, but on the flavor, that kind of like
toasty.
Yeah.
Cheese,
warm,
buttery, almost.
I'm so stoked about this. I'm long story short, doing a gluten-free, dairy-free right now, which has not been enjoyable. But this just gives me a little bit of that toasty cheesiness that I needed. That's perfect.
Scratch the itch a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And we always like to do the Q-tip test here, which is sort of a made-up test, but we like to show that there's a lot that can be done in the wash, in the pressing, that leads to a clean final product. And that Q-tip is so clean. Like you get no actual burnt plant matter on that. Like that's a really clean wash. Shout out to the washer, man.
I try my best.
So you started growing in 2018 on that hemp scale. But this is a step beyond just being able to take seeds and turn them into flour. When did you sort of turn that passion of solventless oil into something that you were doing yourself?
I mean, 16, 17 years old, I was dry sifting, pulling, separating resin heads. And so since a young age, I've been...
I dig it, totally.
Making concentrate. 2013, 14, I'd say, a buddy from Oregon came out and he started pressing some keef. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, you press this and then we can dab it. And I'm like, what? Because we were only getting BHO and crappy.
For sure.
Wax oil back then, and it was far and few in between. And I'm like, wow. And then I found out how to squish nugs as well. So I was making a lot of flower rosin back then. And just kind of progressed from there. Back 2015, I think I built my own... 15, 16, I built my own rosin press out because I was breaking a lot of hair straighteners. So I took a couple...
Did you have the clamp on the hair? All right, for sure. Shout out to that.
So I ended up taking some hair straightener plates and JB welding them to my 600-pound DeWalt clamp.
Cool, okay.
And I mounted that to my bench press and had that all set up down to a science because it wasn't digital control on the temperature or anything on my plate. So I'd turn it on for 30 seconds and I'd press and wait and do this whole thing. And I'd make some decent oil for what there was back then.
For sure.
So as that progressed, started washing and pressing and freeze drying and just studying the art and doing it. And that's the only way to get better is by doing it and working at it. Like you can read and study all you want, but until you get in there and actually get your hands dirty, you're not gonna...
It's clear you've gotten your 10,000 hours because like you've honed that craft of being able to take seed and turn it into incredible concentrates, which is not just a skill of making high quality concentrates, which is an art in itself.
Thank you.
But also the cultivation of the plants and guiding them through their life. And It was so cool coming out to your farm this summer, looking in that greenhouse that you have and seeing these monsters of a plant that I have like heard about before, but had never actually seen plants that like you have to get on a ladder to see the top of. And it's the impressiveness of outdoor growing.
Appreciate it.
Outdoor
is definitely my passion.
Perfect. That's what I was about to ask.
I'm more of a purist and a naturalist. So when everything in nature is working symbiotically as one, how it should, magic happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Indoor, you need to control all that. With outdoor, you can't emulate the sun. You know, nothing beats the sun. So you're getting that high power from the sun. You're getting outside pest pressures that you wouldn't get indoors.
For sure.
But then naturally you're getting the predators coming in to balance everything.
Yeah.
And when you're getting them outside pressures, the plant knows it needs to build up and
totally.
And its defense mechanism is its trichomes. So naturally, they're going to build better, bigger, hardier, stronger, terpier trichomes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, just from my experience.
Totally.
So.
No, I think that's so like apt, especially when you look at, like you were saying, like why this plant produces these chemicals in the first place.
Yep.
It's not just because like it wants to do us a favor. It's because it's trying to defend itself.
That's
and
its only protection against outside elements. So yeah,
I love it. I think it's the same mindset that people have been trying to put to like living soil, of saying like, how do we get it as close to nature as possible? But taking it even one step further and saying, by removing outdoors, you're sort of removing a lot of what gives this plant its oomph.
We're stewards, you know, we need to help it along to make it be its best.
Yeah.
But it's going to do what it's got to do on its own. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next one here. So you talked a little bit about this when you told the story of Tagalong truffle, but papaya power.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one. Where did that come from? What is it?
That is Sin City Blue Power crossed with I think Bloom's papaya.
Okay, for sure.
And I hunted a pack of this a couple years ago and found this one and just fell in love with the flower. It's not the greatest washer, but the resin it does make is absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. So I have to run one outdoors every year just so I can have some of that resin to smoke on.
Totally.
But the flower it produces is absolutely amazing as well.
That makes sense. Yeah, we had Dr. Clement Debney in a couple months back, and we asked, like, what do you always like to grow? He's like, I got to have one that has its bag appeal. I got to have one that's a high yielder. And then I have one that is like the terp profile that I'm looking for. And it's cool being able to grow multiple plants and sort of say, what am I growing this plant for? And that one being this is the terps that I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah. And that's definitely unique too. It's not heavy papaya. I think it's more of the blue power leaning, but it's a good mix of both of them. And it slaps.
I love it. Yeah. Well, here, we'll load some in the puff coat. But first, Jordan, do you want to grab a smell of this one? Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Here, we'll hold it up. You can see that it's just like dripping with terps. Like this is
it's wet.
Super wet. Yeah. There we go.
That's kind of a problem when it washes too. It's a little greasy.
Okay.
So it makes collection a little tougher and kind of greases out your bag. So you're losing some yield there too as well.
Have you ever ruined a set of bags from greasing them out? I'm just kidding.
Absolutely. Absolutely. More than once. Test washes are important.
Yeah. What does your process look like for, maybe you have a new cut you're exploring, for figuring out if something is a washer? Do you do like the jar tech, see if you get some?
Jar tech's a good tech to do for sure. After so long, you can tell and feel just off the plant. A lot of times, like if you rub a plant or a leaf, do the smell test, you'll either get like sticky stringers or sandy.
Okay, for sure.
You'll actually see intact trichome heads on your fingertips. So that's a good indication that it might be a good washer. But if it's just slimy, greasy, yeah, you kind of want to.
All right, maybe.
Stay
No.
away.
Maybe not.
I
Not
know.
for that one.
I know a lot of our listeners know exactly what you mean by a washer, good washer, bad washer. But for those
For those that
listeners
don't know.
who don't know what a washer is or what that process is, could you explain that?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I'll let you explain a lot of it, but in essence, for this to go from the plant material itself to this, it has to go through the wash.
A good washer would be something where we take it and we do a process with ice and water and we wash it. And then being a good washer, the separation of heads from the plant material, as far as the collection and the yield, that would be a good washer, being a good yielder and how easy the heads separate from the plant material. So that's kind of what we mean by being a good washer, a good yielder.
Yeah, as I talked about earlier in this show, as I'll talk about in the future, I love orangey strains. Generally speaking, that just doesn't wash as well. You can cross it. You can try to find something that has the orange in it. Yeah. But if you're going for like a straight orange profile, generally just not a dumper.
A lot of lemon citric-y strains tend to be more greasier. And yeah.
Shout out to the good BHO makers in the world then. You know?
Hey, we got a good one we know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, I love that. I mean, that's super flavorful. Like, I agree with you. You get less of like the straight papaya notes from that.
Yeah.
But it's like
another unique one.
Yeah, for sure. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a couple left to talk about. We've talked about papaya power. We've talked about tag-along truffle. We've talked about Mila Kunis. We've got a couple jars of OMFG, and I wanted to sort of use this as an opportunity to talk about the difference between indoor, outdoor, and then also something that's not rosin that we're going to be talking about. But first off, tell me, OMFG, is that a plant that you like growing indoors or outdoors, or what's your preference for that one, and where did that come from?
A buddy actually gifted me that clone. Buddy I went to high school with, grew up with. He hunted it, and I went over to his grow one day and smelled it, and I was like, I need a cut of that.
For sure.
And he gave me a cut of that, and I've had it ever since, and she is another unique one. There's not much out there that's like that terp profile that I've encountered. She's an easy grower. She flowers pretty quick. We harvested her October 1st, I think, or totally. September 29th or something, for hash. And she washes really well, tastes good, everything about her I love.
I take it.
Yeah, so I prefer growing outdoor, yes, but for indoor I prefer growing for flower. Outdoor I prefer growing for resin.
Okay, for sure. That makes sense.
With the indoor run I did wash her because it wasn't the greatest run I had, and I just ended up washing it. And it oxidized a lot quicker than the outdoor. I don't know why.
So tell me, when you're talking about oxidization, that's something that we can sort of hold up to the camera so people can see. Yeah. But in essence, it's like a minor chemical change within the oil itself. So these are both OMFG, one indoor, one outdoor, and you can see they just have a slightly different coloration to it. Now, when you originally gave me this jar, it did not have that slight coloration to it.
And that jar is probably 6 to 8 months old.
Oh, yeah. And, I try my best to always follow best practices of keeping it in the fridge and all of that. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and this one has come with me on a couple of road trips. So it's definitely had its fair share of out of the fridge time.
Yeah.
But what I love is that you stir it up a little bit, you put some in the Puffco, and it's still crazy flavorful. Yeah. You're getting a bunch off of that. Yep. Throwing things. Sheesh, as they say.
And then we have the cured resin.
Yeah. So
it's not rosin.
So what is that?
Piatella it's actually a technique that's been around for a long time, but it's just most recently been catching waves again. And it's just a technique of curing bubble hash and making it stable. Dabbable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bubble hash is dabbable. It should be. But,
For sure. Good quality bubble hash, we should say.
When you cure it this way, it kind of chemically changes it and lets the terpenes release while keeping the form of the heads somehow. I don't know the whole science behind it, but I've been dabbling with it here, and the outcome's been pretty successful in my opinion. People have been loving it.
I think this stuff is incredibly cool. Yeah, here, we'll hold it up for the camera. So, not rosin. People who watched the Sam Milstein episode saw us do some dabs of this. He had some incredibly good things to say about this because the flavor on it is.
I'll have to check it out.
Wait, you don't watch every episode the day it drops? No, just kidding. Actually, it's funny. Jordan asked me a question about an earlier episode, and I was like, oh, shoot, I haven't seen that one yet. So, you and I will both go back and watch it. But yeah, here, I mean, so let's sort of talk about the difference between these, but we have to try them to be able to talk about the difference of them. So let's start by, you want to dab? Should we put it on the Puffco? What are your thoughts?
Whatever.
All right.
Let's Puffco the old stuff.
Perfect. Let's do it.
And then let's dab the newer stuff.
Sweet.
Because you're probably the only guy on the face of the earth that still has some of that left.
And that might not be true after today. We'll see. See how much we do with this.
Well, it's a good occasion.
Absolutely. I was saving it for a special occasion, and having you in the studio to talk about these and taste them with us feels like perhaps the perfect occasion.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that run at work, everybody loved it from the indoor one.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't last too long either. So that's why I say you most likely are the only guy on the planet with a little bit of it left. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll wait for this to heat up, and then we'll give this a taste. Some OMFG.
Boom. How's that? Better?
Ooh. OMFG, if you will. God, I love the flavor on that one. That is super good. It's like a little bit piney, but crazy flavorful.
Yeah, it kind of changed. But I remember with this batch, as it cured, it kept changing too. Because every day I came in and Nick's like, how is it today? I was like, it changed again, but it's good. It's for the good.
That is the fun of concentrate production. You know, I don't at all consider myself to be a master of the art of any sorts, but got into dabbling with making my own concentrates with some of my home grow and being able to see every step of the process from growing to the washing to the pressing to then watching that change over weeks and months is just really, it's a cool connection with the plant that I think a lot of just consumers who buy at a dispensary really miss out on.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. I don't know. I always like to say the heads don't lie, right? Like,
for sure.
Every jar tells the story of what that plant went through, in my opinion. It was either taken care of and treated properly, or it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's fire or it's not, right?
Absolutely.
So I have to agree with you 100% on that statement, that people don't get to connect with it on the level that growers and processors do. But that's the passion and the love we have for it, right?
Totally.
You have to go through the trenches and do it to actually appreciate it that much more.
So a question for you. The first time I did a wash, I was super stoked on what I grew. It was some garlic butter from Humboldt Seed Co. I had grown out 4 plants in my tent in my little 3x3. I was super excited loading into the plastic bag. I put it in the freezer, put it in the washing machine. I gave it a wash. It came out just like this beautiful purple color. It smelled so good. And then I went to go collect it, and there was like nothing. Have you ever had those washes that you go for or that you have started that you realize like, man, this is not what I want to be doing right now?
Well, this past wash, I believe you were present for.
Yeah, for sure.
That was one of those.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That definitely makes sense.
Yeah, it's just high hopes, and then you pull a bag, and it's like,
Yeah.
And then you have 4 or 5, 6 more spins to do, and you got to do it because
it's already in there,
and that none of the outcomes of them spins are going to be any better than the first, but you still got to do all the work and go through the process. So yeah, it's kind of a big bummer and takes the wind out of your sails and makes you second guess what you're doing with your life, but those are the times you just got to push through it and get her done.
I imagine that's just like one of the challenging parts about rosin is when you're blasting, there's so much you can do to sort of, squeeze gold from the rocks and maybe turn some not great product into some okay product. Yeah. I think with rosin, it's so evident of the plant that went into the wash.
Fire in, fire out.
Bingo, exactly. Yeah. That it's not like you can take something that I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, it must be something wrong with the washing machine. And coming back to it later and having Aaron have to put his hand on my shoulder and say, buddy, it was the grow. And that's okay.
Not just the grow, strain specific too.
Absolutely.
You probably, it might have been your first grow. I crushed my first grow. Like I didn't turn any into hash. Well, I shouldn't say that. I dry sifted and pressed some dry sift.
Okay, for sure.
But I kept most of my first grow for flour because it was some bomb flour, and I was like so happy to smoke my first grow. Like
absolutely.
Like you may not have done anything wrong. It could have just been the strain, not a washer, not a dumper, right? So
we're gonna clip that segment and send it to Aaron, so then I can.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. All right, well, should we get to another dab here? So let's get a dab of that OMFG Outdoor.
All right.
That was a beautiful plant, man.
Yeah, she did. She did really well. She was super susceptible to the stalk borers.
For sure.
This season. But she took them with stride, like, there was spots where a borer went in, laid eggs, and crawled out, and she just grew around it and took it like a champ. So I was pretty impressed with that.
All right. We'll give it just another second here, and then you should be all set. Oh, there's that for you. Yeah, it was so cool coming out. Jordan, I'll tell you, he's ripping that dab. I know, I'm so sorry. I saw a tiny little piece of that fell. Where you come out to this little greenhouse, and there are these plants that are just giant. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, how did these get so big in just the past couple of weeks? Like, it's only been summer for a minute. Realizing that just like if I was growing tomatoes and I'd go and buy a tomato start, they don't go as seed in June. And Casey, when is your here, I can grab that from you. When is your start time? When you're thinking about what you want to grow in the summer, when are you generally looking to like get some genetics going?
If I'm starting from seed, which I generally wouldn't risk my outdoor season on a seed.
Okay, for sure.
I'd want a confirmed genetic that I'm growing because then I know what to anticipate for harvest. But if I was starting from seed, I'd probably start my seeds in January, February.
Okay, for sure.
Start getting them going, and so I can get some clones off them as well. Maybe even get that flipped indoor so I can get an idea of what it might be outdoor and have a clone rooted, ready to go by June 1st.
Okay, that makes sense.
Usually. This year was the earliest I got my plants in. I got my plants in, I think, on my birthday on the 19th of May.
Okay, for sure.
And they didn't flip to flower. They took it with stride and just kept going. So,
because if you put them out too early, you risk that you don't yet have like enough sunlight for them to be
hours.
in veg,
Yeah, and
for sure.
they'll flip to flower. And once that happens, they just freak out for a month trying to go back into re-veg, which takes off of your outdoor growing season substantially.
Definitely makes sense. You know, that means, Jordan, it means it's time for summer in just like a month here. Like just a couple of weeks. Summer begins.
It's swimsuit season, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that was a bummer. I dropped half that down.
I know. We've all been there. And I looked immediately at the floor and was like, oh, yeah, we've not cleaned this recently enough that I would I'd grab that and do that. But
wait, you don't think I get a bucket and mop in here before and after every episode that we do?
Oh, I thought I was the only one that was then it's probably cleaning.
I've been doing Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Still tasted great nonetheless.
Bingo. Yes. Well, and let's be real. There were times in the early days of me consuming cannabis when it was far more scarce, where if it dropped on the floor, it's still fine.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so let's get some of this Piatella into the Puffco.
Yeah.
I already know that this is crazy flavorful. But tell me, I mean, was creating this something that you went in intending to do, or was it something that was sort of more of a let's experiment and see what comes out? Because this is fire.
I've been seeing a few other hash makers over the past year or two coming out with this product, and there's a couple different ways of producing it. One is a cellophane tech where you vac seal it. Another is a jar tech. And I tried the jar tech a couple months ago with a little bit of bubble hash I had laying around, and it turned out really well. It was actually some of the Clement onions bubble hash. I think the first time you had Sam Milstein on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He had a jar of the
he definitely
Clement
did.
Onions. He called it foul.
Which is like the highest compliment, like that.
Yeah, and so you were actually over the day I popped that jar too, and we tried it, and
it was incredible. I think our friend Nick described it as like an old school kind of high. Like it hits you as like, oh, like that is, I'm stoned.
Yeah. It's more of a full spectrum because it's less processed. It's not pressed and refined more with the press bags and whatnot. So you're getting more of a full spectrum product there, which is going to lead to a different high than you're getting.
And that's just I want to pull up the micron. Yeah, just that 90U first pull. So that's prime terps.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start heating this up here. Jordan, I'm excited for you to try this because we've both tried this already. We both know that this is incredible.
I love it.
I'm excited for you to try some of it.
Me too. I'm always happy to lend my palate.
We appreciate your services.
Please be honest as well. I love any feedback.
See, you don't know me as well as Tanner does, but I'm a beer guy. I can taste the hops off of any beer. But like listening to you guys talk about this stuff is like super fun, and it's like listening to two wine connoisseurs talk about like Syrahs versus fucking blah blah blah. You know.
Yep.
Syrahs. I know what that word means.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah. This almost actually, like, the OMFG Piatella reminds me of a wine, almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that coming together flavor.
Very, very smooth. Very, it's like that sweetness, citrus, but also like hints of that. We were talking about it last week, like a little bit of cleaner. Some sort of like citrusy, like pine sol or like.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's the same plant, but it's such a different like iteration of that flavor profile.
Right? Yep. And it's cool to be able to see different aspects of the same plant. Same harvest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like that one jar you were showing me from that one
Happy's
Legacy
Head Stash,
Cup
the
or
Rainbow
whatever.
Guava number 5.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Having something that in bubble hash form and rosin form is both a cool product is unique.
Absolutely. And that's something that not the everyday consumer gets to experience, but hopefully we can bring that to market and let them get to try the differences and the different nuances that it creates.
For sure. I think back to the early days of when Colorado went online for legalization, and concentrates were available for sure, but the quality and the variety was limited. I hope that Minnesota, when legalization fully comes online, that the stores that we have really lean into the concentrate culture that had been growing and developed in Minnesota, and has a variety of, not just your, Skittles rosin. Like, that's cool. Like, great. But I really love that there's variety in what this plant puts out, and I hope that the consumers in Minnesota appreciate that.
I concur. I really hope so as well. Not just like stuck on the all the main strains as well. Like, don't be afraid to go out there and try new things.
Totally. Yeah. You came back from Colorado this summer, Estes Park, just a couple weeks after I was there.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And you had a jar of just some funky, like it was rotten fruit something that I can't remember exactly what it was
either.
But there were, you know how to find cool terps in the rough, if you will.
I try. I'm an avid hunter, fisherman, outdoorsman. So when it comes to hunting cannabis or terpenes, I take the same passion that I do in the outdoors, and I put it towards that as well. So, yeah.
Well, it clearly shows in the work that you put out. I remember showing you some of our washing process and being like, what do I do better, man? And your whole thing was like the care and craft that you put into like your favorite activity. You have to do that for this. You can't half-ass it. Otherwise, you're going to get half-good product.
Yeah.
This is really good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, so we've talked through Papaya Power, Tagalong, Mila Kunis, OMFG in a variety of different formats. But then you brought in one more jar. Now,
you didn't get any of the Big Bad Wolf rosin.
No. So that's why I'm excited for us to talk about what this one is. So tell us what this is and sort of where Big Bad Wolf came from.
So Big Bad Wolf it's a CSI Humboldt cross of Chem 91 to Chem Dog. So it's just full on Chem. Mm-hmm. Chem Dog is one of my favorite, number one all time. I'm old school. I love it. I won this pack of seeds on the Minnesota Cannabis Facebook page.
Okay, for sure.
Tyler, Head in the Trees.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lottery or whatever, and I won. So I got them and I popped them and I hunted them, and out of 6, I found this one and fell in love. And it is a washer. It is a dumper, and the resin that it produces is absolutely amazing. The indoor flower she produces is fire. I love that too.
Because would you describe yourself as a chem flavor prefer? Is that generally what you're looking for?
Absolutely, yes. I love the gas. So this is more chem doggy, more chemi. There's some chems out there that are more garlic leaning, kind of GMO-y, but this is more chemi.
Okay.
And I like the more chemi. I love GMO too, but when I want chem, I want chem.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Jordan, did you know that Chem Dog allegedly comes from a parking lot in Wisconsin of a Grateful Dead concert?
Yep.
There's a guy who bought some local weed, came with some seeds in it. He went, man, this is really fire stuff, and grew it out, and Chem Dog.
The 11 bean legend of the 11 beans?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'll give that to you, man.
We'll have to turn that into a segment. It's like Tanner's Tidbits. Dwing.
Tanner's Tidbits. Did you know?
Yeah.
We'll come up with some graphic a la the more you know, the rainbow thing, and
so
that's
yes.
something. That is super chemi. That is incredible.
I love it. It'll be around for a while. That's one of the personal favorites in the stable. And then I decided to make some piatella.
Ooh, all right.
With it. And besides me and my wife, you'll be the third person to try it.
Oh my gosh, that's such an honor.
Yeah.
Smell here.
Have at her.
Wow. Just sort of like the OMFG. The nose changes a little bit on it. You're still getting some of that chemi notes, but man, that's incredible.
It did change. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very nice. There's I know I throw this word around a lot, but nostalgic. There's something.
It's old school. It is.
Okay, so maybe it's bringing me back to like just hanging out with the guys and you know.
Absolutely, for sure.
For sure. Well, and the nose knows. Like when you're smelling something and you're saying like, wow, like I really want a tab of that. Like there's a reason. Like your nose is a powerful receptor.
Yeah. Oh, it's yep.
I'm excited to give this a try. Thank you for bringing some of this in. I love how it has such a different appearance than rosin, but oh man, it is gorgeous. Perhaps even closer to what is traditionally called hash than rosin is. Piatel is so cool.
Yeah. It's more unadulterated, right? So it's just cured.
Holy sheesh. That is incredible. That is like such a full profiled chem. Like it's not just like I thought the rosin was good, but that is insane. Wow.
They're like, it's everything. Like,
yeah,
you've got creaminess, but you've got pininess, but you've got like that kind of, we're getting into that cheesy, like Parmesan world, but like not funk, just like that creamy.
Wow.
That's something else. That is something else.
Special.
Oh man. What else is in there? Like a pepperiness.
That's another like straight chem dog's hard to find. So when I found that pheno, I was extremely happy. Yeah.
We got to get the Dabbler Depot alcohol team in here to do like a wine.
I was going to say, we should get Sharon. Sharon is our resident super sniffer. She can, like, somebody will pop a bottle of wine 25 feet away from her, and she'll be like, wow, that's... that grape was grown on the northwest side of the... Like, it's insane what she can do with her nose and her memory, so...
And dude, is she coming in?
No, not today, unfortunately.
Yeah, not today, but...
Yeah, but, dude, and incredibly clean. Like, I one Q-tip in there, got it cleaned out. The second Q-tip, there's, like, nothing on. Like, it was basically, like, you know, not even in the...
I think that the OMFG Piatella cleaned up a lot better than the Big Bad Wolf, but nonetheless, this cleans up pretty well as well for not being pressed and more refined, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it turned out really good. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
That's you've got some cool jars on the table right now, that's for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we'll keep hunting and trying to find some new stuff. You know?
Yeah, so speaking of that, looking forward to next year. I mean, we're coming up to like January when that next year's season is coming up. Is there anything that you're looking to grow outdoors this coming season or looking forward to?
I've already been thinking about it, and Big Bad Wolf's going out, Tag Along's going out, OMFG's going out, and probably Bickett OG.
Okay, for sure.
I just received a cut of that, and that's GMO by, what is it? Cherry. Oh, God. Why can't I think of it? I can't think of it right now.
You're all good.
But
some cherry cross.
Yeah, Lime Rising Farm, Nick, he bred that in Michigan as well. I didn't get the cut from him, but I got it from a buddy of ours. So I'm looking forward to some super funky GMO next year as well. Get some garlic in the lineup. Yeah,
I dig it. Well, and then also you have an incredible garden outside of just cannabis. It's so cool coming out and seeing what you and Abby have set up there. What things are you excited to be growing outside of cannabis? Any vegetables or...
Always love growing our carrots.
All right.
Carrots are fun. It's so rewarding pulling a big giant carrot out. Love doing that. Tomatoes, garlic. I already got my garlic in for next year, so I love growing garlic. We just try to grow whatever we eat. Green beans, a lot of green beans.
Cool.
Yeah.
I tried to do carrots for the first time last summer, and I was like, we're going to do container carrots, and pulled them out, and they were about that big. And,
carrots, yeah, container carrots. Container potatoes, those work really well.
I just keep chicken with the tomatoes. Tomatoes and hot peppers. Can't go wrong there. So.
And then our chickens. We love our chickens.
Yeah.
Too. So we try to take all our chicken manure and stuff, incorporate that in the garden, compost, and keep it all one closed loop system. And
it was so cool. I'm used to finishing the harvest of my indoor plants, chopping down and being like, well, now we got to sort of move the dirt around, get some nutrients back in there, figure stuff out. Yeah, I love the fact of outdoor growing where, all right, well, it's the end of the season. What do we do? You just let the chickens in and it'll be ready for next season.
They turn it up. We cover it with some composted leaf matter and some wood chips and let her rock for next season, and nature does its thing, And then we have a compost pile that all our indoor whatever trash and soil and food scraps we all put in there, and then we'll top dress our beds and our garden with that as well too. So nothing really goes to waste, and it all goes back to where it's supposed to.
All right. Well, so one quick question for you. So for people that are looking to grow outdoors this summer in Minnesota, growing outdoors is a different beast than growing indoors. What tips might you have for people that are looking for their first season outdoors?
Find a early finishing strain, one that's going to be finished before the snow flies or it gets way too cold and the plant just dies off and doesn't have a chance. So
that Jack Herrera outdoors.
Yeah,
is not gonna,
no sativas. Autoflowers might be a good choice. Okay. You might even be able to get 2 runs of autos in if you get them out early enough, or just hunt a strain that finishes quick.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I appreciate that. I think a lot of people make that mistake of they're super excited to grow outdoors. They're sort of get in there. What genetics am I most interested in? Oh, I want this one. It's going to be super uplifting and citrusy and wonderful. And there are parts of the world where that is great to grow.
If you can find a 50, 60-day finisher, you can probably make it work.
Fair. I appreciate
At least for hash.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but yeah, strain dependent.
Choose your strain. Choose a good strain.
Minnesota's we're a different ecosystem here. We gotta.
If someone, obviously different breeders create different tech. Every seed is a little bit different. But if someone was looking for like, I just want to put a seed outside. Any strain that you'd recommend that people are guided towards?
That was one reason I kept Papaya Power and I run it outdoor as well, because she's ready to harvest for hash. Hash is fire. Usually by the last weekend in September.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm usually harvested papaya before October even hits.
Okay. So no Croptober, at least for papaya.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in the studio today. Thanks
you
for the incredible treats you brought in.
Appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. For those that are interested in following along with some of the stuff that you're doing, is there an Instagram account you want to send them to? Where would you recommend?
At Trichrome_collectors on Instagram. That's pretty much the only place.
Sweet. Perfect. We'll put that in the show notes so people can follow along and stay connected.
Right on.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, man. We'll be back just a minute. Northern Lights is a Minnesota Cannabis College production. This episode was produced by me, Tanner Barris, and by Steve Eigenman and Jordan Witt. Production assistance from Marcus Harkis, Shayna Payton, and John Barty. Video and audio recording at the Dabbler Depot studio by Jordan Witt. The information provided in this podcast does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice, but is instead for general information purposes only. No listener should act solely on the basis of information provided without first seeking advice from their own legal counsel. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Minnesota Cannabis College. Please listen responsibly.